Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another Friday. Welcome to the Ron Henry Lawn Care live stream. My name is Ron Henry, and this is all about you guys. So it's a fun time on a Friday evening. We hang out, take your lawn care questions, and it's going to be interesting because we're getting close to springtime, guys. In Georgia, the weather's finally warming up a little bit. We'll see if it holds. So I am excited. Confidence is high. I was actually looking at the forecast, and it was 73 a couple days ago, and on Sunday it's saying it's gonna get to 77. So it's definitely go time. So if you guys have not got your pre-emergent down yet, you might want to consider doing that. So let's see, what do we have in the house tonight? We've got Lawn to Learns in the house, Emilio, Papa Mo's Low. We got a question from Emilio here. We'll definitely get to that. And Chaz and Daryl, R. Colson, first time watcher. Welcome, R. Colson. Thanks for coming and hanging out in the live stream. Really appreciate it. I think you sent me a message. You left a message on one of the videos. I just responded to you about soil tests. I think you asked me a question about that. But yeah. Welcome to the live stream. Let's see who else we have in the house here. We got again Emilio, Jim. Hey Jim, how's it going? Thanks for coming to hang out with us tonight. And Timothy Wolf and everyone else. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you guys again so much for coming to hang out in the live stream. So it's been a fun week as far as things going on. I sent my soil test out last week to My Soil, got them back. You guys probably saw the video that released, was it yesterday or 2 days? No, it was actually a couple days ago. No, actually, it was this morning it went live. The days are all running together. So I got my soil test results back, and as you guys saw, my pH looked pretty good about where I expected it, but calcium and magnesium were a little bit low. So you guys got to see me apply some dolomitic lime, or at least talk about applying some dolomitic lime. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Okay, so the first question we have here actually is from FiDip. He actually asked the question prior to the live stream starting, and so I'll answer his question first. So he says here, FiDip says, Ron, I checked for some release 0 at Site 1 today. It wasn't in stock, but the guy looked it up on the computer. It was over $300 for 2.5 gallons. Is there a cheaper option? Yes, FiDip, or FiDip, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. There are cheaper options for it. I mean, release 0 is an expensive product, but it's really, really good. Unfortunately, it's not gonna be inexpensive. But as far as sizes that's available in, you can get it in a gallon, and you can also get it in 32-ounce containers. So something that's like along the lines of like this, right? So this is not Release 0. This is like 901C. This is the old branding from Miramichi Greens products, but you can get it in a size like this. So the Release 0 is also available in this size in case you were looking for that. And a little bit goes a long way. It's like 2 ounces will cover 1,000 square feet. So it doesn't take very much. So I think that little 32-ounce container will go pretty far. All right, so I want to take your question because I know you came in early and you asked that, so I didn't want you to get lost in it. Cool, so let's see what else we have going on here. We have a question from Emilio. He says, challenge for the show. If you had a $600 budget to start as a lawn owner, what lineup of, you're crippling me, you're saying battery now, of battery mower and basic tools brand would you go with? That's a tough one. So as I know of a couple of brands, there's the like Ego is really, really well regarded as far as brands for electrical stuff. I don't know if you're gonna be able to get a full load out for $600 though. Here's what I would do. If I were gonna prioritize your list, I would definitely get the mower first. The mower is like obviously the most important thing, and then go for like an edger of some sort. So what you can do at a pinch is just get like a string trimmer, because that's gonna, with some good technique, you can get a decent edge with a string trimmer. And then, from there, you can build up the rest of your load out. Like a blower is kind of, I mean, they're nice, but they're kind of a luxury. So I would do, if it were me, I would do mower, obviously first, string trimmer. And then if you have some money, go for the blower. And then, if you are going to do like your own fertilizers and things like that, that's when you'd want to really start looking into like a broadcast spreader. So mower, string trimmer, blower, broadcast spreader, and then just continue your load out. But the thing about that, about the electric stuff, is that the price is kind of up front loaded. So they're a little bit more pricey than gas powered stuff, at least up front. But I think if you get in the whole ecosystem where you're able to swap batteries between the different devices, that it kind of works out well. So just realize it's going to be a little expensive to start, but yeah, it can work out. But get the mower first. The most important piece of lawn equipment is definitely the mower. And you guys that are electric guys, because again, I don't have any electric equipment really. Chime in. If you guys that are on that electric lawnmower life, chime in. Let's help Emilio out. Let me know if you have what comments you guys have, what you guys are using. But yeah, definitely spend the most money on the mower. I don't think Ego makes any real mowers, so there has to be a point deduction for that. But I think they make a pretty decent lawnmower. Actually, Tony has one of those. If you look at, you guys saw my series from last year where we did Tony's lawns. We did Alex's lawn as far as like the full treatment, and then there was a couple of videos that we showed, like of the tree with casting a lot of shade, and where we did the carbon treatments and everything to Tony's lawn, where we just moved in. He has an Ego, an electric mower, and he really likes it. So they are good products. But again, you're just gonna be more than $600 to get all in. Let's see who else we got here. Chaz Bishop's in the house. Daryl, Papa Mo's Low. Yeah, man. So where you guys are, is the weather warming up where any of you guys are as yet? I mean, I know that in Texas, I think Snowmageddon has ended. So I imagine you guys are probably starting to get some sane temperatures again. And yeah, so yeah, let's go. R. Colson chimes in. Looks like he's in Texas, in Dallas. He says, anything warmer than last week? I did a pre-scalp yesterday and got 3 inches of rain last night. Very cool, man. Very cool. 3 inches is probably a bit much for pre-emergent, but I mean, that would have been a decent time to put something down if you needed to. 3 inches is kind of heavy though. And I am definitely a fan of the pre-scalp. I know some people say you don't need to do it, or that it's not necessary. And again, scalping your lawn isn't strictly necessary. It just lets you green up a little sooner. But given the size that I'm working with, like having to take off a bunch of material off of 12,000 square feet all at once, I can tell you from past experience, it is not fun. Not even the least bit fun. So I'm glad I did it in January. And maybe this Sunday, I'll finish up the job and get going. So we'll see. I really shouldn't have that much to take off, because I mowed already once with the Greensmaster, and not much came off the lawn, so it shouldn't take too much to do it. Let's see what other questions we have here. So from Papa Mo's Low, he says he's got Bermuda grass, Birmingham, Alabama area. Go Dogs. So that's good. Okay, nice. So even though you're in Birmingham, you are backing the superior team in the SEC. Actually, I can't say that. Alabama's a better team, but you have to hold out hope for Georgia, right? Got to do it. Says your soil temp's 59 degrees, no green in sight. Looks like you're giving some parameters for your soil test numbers. Is it too early for some Milo to get things started? No, not really. The thing with Milo is, right, if you put it down now, it's just not going to really begin. You're not going to start seeing the real benefits from it until soil temps start getting above, like into the 50s, because it relies heavily on microbial activity to break down and to start making the nitrogen and iron and all the nutrients available to the plant. So yeah, I mean, it's not going to hurt anything, and it's just going to be just sitting there waiting until temps get a little bit warmer. From here, Papa Mo's Low, we should be going up. I mean, I'm looking in the forecast, and outside of Sunday, which is in the 70s, it looks like we're going to be into the 50s and 60s from here on out. So as long as that holds out and nothing crazy happens where we get some kind of cold snap, we should be up for early spring. Should be pretty awesome. I am definitely down for that. You say you do have some 18, 24, 12 when it's time. That's cool. Yeah, man. If you're itching to put something down, Milo is not gonna hurt. I think we're looking at your soil test results. You did need everything. So yeah, Milo is not a bad choice if you just you want to go put something down on the lawn now. You're not gonna hurt anything. Let's see. Emilio Cabrera says that today in Buffalo, I was able to see the first square foot of grass under the snow. That's rough, man. It says, I still don't even know what grass you have. Total 4,000 square feet in total, and we're lucky down in Georgia. Well, it depends. It depends on your perspective, right? So, I mean, if you like to mow grass, if you're like, someone that's like a lawn care geek like me, you just can't wait to get out there and get started and trying to, get all the products in the lawn and start working on it. Yeah, being in Georgia is good. But if you hate mowing grass, not so good, because it's. I think we're gonna get an early spring, man. We have a good trend here coming, which is pretty awesome. SoCal Lawn and Orders in the house. Welcome, SoCal. Listening on your way home. I'm glad to hear that. I appreciate the support, sir. Let's see. Who else? What other questions do we have? So Timothy Wolf is saying he just got he ordered his My Soil test kit today. If I need help with results, can I send them to you? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'd be happy to look at them and help you out. So, on the topic of My Soil or just soil testing, if you guys are only going to do one test a year, like if you're in the camp of like, hey, I'm not going to do like quarterly testing, because again, it's not strictly necessary. But if you're saying I'm only going to do one soil test a year, like now would be the time to do it, because you want to, if there's anything weird happening in the soil, you want to start working on those things now, as well as, kind of like you look at like Papa Mo's Low, he's itching to put some fertilizer down. It'd be good to know that what you're putting down makes a lot of sense. It's that you're putting down the right product for your the right suite of products that you need for your soil. So it's always good. I had a question from a viewer, and he said, well, why do you like talk about soil testing? Why is it so important? I said, well, think about it. I mean, let's think about it from a standpoint of like you going to a doctor, right? Let's say you have like chest pain, shoulder pain, something's going on, and you went to the doctor's office, you got your appointment, you sat down in the lobby, and as soon as you sat down in the lobby, they come and say, Mr. Henry. I'm like, yep, that's me. And they just walk up to me, and they write out a prescription and hand it to me. And said, go to your nearest pharmacy, fill it up, and be well. But they didn't like check my blood pressure. They didn't ask what my problems were, any of that stuff. You wouldn't have too much confidence in that prescription, right? So it's kind of like the same thing with your soil. I mean, you can just wing it if you want, but if you're really serious about getting good results, like having an idea of what's going on so you can put the right products in the soil makes a lot of sense. So that for the viewer that asked that question, you said I told him I'd answer it on the air. So Timothy, your question was a good segue into allowing me to do that. So I appreciate it. Let's see what other questions we have here. So USC Trojans. From Trin Dave, he says, for $600, Ryobi, rotary mower, and string trimmer and edger are great. Not the best for low-cut warm season grass, but can do well in the 2-inch to 2 to 2.5 height of cut range. Okay, cool. Yeah, so there you go. You have an option there as far as getting into electric for a little bit less. I didn't think about Ryobi. Again, I don't really know that much about electric mowers or battery powered stuff. I mean, the only electric mower that I'm aware of are two. There's the Swardman the Electra that they're working on, and then there's the electric version from Toro, the Greensmaster, which is totally like really, really expensive. So that's the extent of my knowledge on electrical lawn mowers. Very, very cool. JG's in the house. Dave's in the house. Hey man, welcome. Thanks for coming to hang out, David. Welcome. Thanks for coming to hang out. JG says the snow's melting, the sun is shining, birds are chirping, and it's time for lawn church. I don't know about lawn church, but I'm glad that you guys are coming to hang out with us. It's going to be a good time. Let's see. So Travis Wilson says, "What's up, Ron? Pre-Scalp Carbon Pro G ready for spring. Nice. Yeah. So, if you guys are, for those of you that have warm season, I mean, I'm definitely a fan of the Pre-Scalp. I know not everybody is, chooses to do that, but if you can break it up into smaller sections, it's definitely the way to go. Actually, BYD, Bermuda Grass Central, did a video, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, on scalping using a rotary mower, which is really good because like most people, he made a really good point. A lot of people have rotary mowers, and if you're looking at the best way to get a good result without killing yourself, using his video is actually pretty good. So if you have a rotary and you're looking at scalping, check that out. And as far as we want to see a video on scalping with a real mower, I did one in late January when I did my pre-scalp, showing you guys how I went about doing that. So. But either way, it's really not that hard. The big thing is just, set the height of cut lower than where you intend to maintain the lawn. And then that's one of the few times you're going to hear me say, get the clippings out. So, all the stuff you're cutting off, don't just cut it and let it sit on the lawn. Get all that material out. So you're opening up the canopy. You're getting more sunlight, more heat down onto the soil. So things will bounce back a bit sooner. You're just going to encourage the lawn to green up a little sooner. Let's see. So Michael Harmer says, "Hey Ron, I just finished accidentally scalping my lawn, your yard. Accidentally, huh? And at least there was some green under there." Yeah, I mean that's you'll find, man. And that is the big thing with scalping is there's a couple of benefits. You get rid of a lot of that dead top growth, and the big thing is you're just allowing heat and light to get down to the soil a little bit better, which is pretty awesome. So let's see who else we have in the house here. Stan G's in the house representing. Let's see. So Emilio chimes in. He's going back on his electric. He's also interested in one of the Sun Joe 24-volt reel mowers for $250. Seems like a great option to reel mow for less than a fancy $2,000 mower. You know what, man? I tell you, Emilio, I wouldn't pass that up. I tell you, because Sun Joe. I mean, again, I've not used any of their stuff, but all the videos I've ever seen on YouTube of people that use their equipment. I only see pretty good reviews, and again, the price is right. It's not super expensive. Again, this is not obviously an endorsement for Sun Joe. They're not paying me to say this or anything like that. I mean, every piece of content that I see that people put out about their stuff, like especially their they make like a power rake, it's not really a verticut. It's like a power rake, and that one is really really well received. So their reel mower is probably okay too. So it might be worth checking out. Let's see, what are the questions we have here? Oh, Moro's in the house. What's going on, man? Thanks for coming to hang out. I know you a lot of times you work evenings, so I'm glad that you're off and you get to come hang out in the live stream. Daniel's in the house, and we have a question from Jim. Okay, so Jim's question is, I live in South Dakota, but I was down in Round Texas near Austin. Before the storm, my brother and I put down half rate of Prodiamine. Should my brother do the app over again? No, not yet, Jim. So if you went half rate on Prodiamine, so by that, I guess you're only going to use Prodiamine just in the spring and use something else for your fall pre-emergent. But if you did half rate already, the way to get the most out of your split apps, if that's the strategy you're going for, is to wait until soil temps cross 65 degrees and then put down your second app. I mean, you can put down the second app now if you want, but since you only put down a half rate now, that's going to do a lot to suppress that initial weed pressure. If you can wait until his soil temps cross 65 degrees, that is when you would do the second app, and that's going to get you the most coverage out of that. So he doesn't need to do it. He doesn't need to do it just yet. I would actually wait. I would wait. Yeah, I wouldn't be in a rush to do that. It all depends on what he's trying to do, right? Because if the goal is to use your Prodiamine, your annual Prodiamine allotment just for the spring, then putting down the other half is a great option for in Georgia, it's probably going to be late April, early May is probably when you can do it. Whenever soil temps are getting over 65 degrees. So it all depends on weather. But the short answer to your question is no. I wouldn't have him do that just yet. If that helps answer your question. All right, so Daniel says, his question, he says, Sun Joe reel mower on a bumpy lawn. Thoughts? I think it probably should work fine, Daniel. The thing is, so here's the one thing that is kind of a misconception about reel mowers. Everyone thinks that you must have a top dress lawn to reel mow your lawn, and that simply is not true. You don't have to, if you want to cut your lawn like at, half an inch, maybe once you get under an inch, into 3/4 or lower, that's where, having your lawn smoother will help. But reel mowers, especially if you have the ones that have a front roller on them, because of the way they work, they're less likely to scalp. You think about a rotary mower, you've got I don't know, it's you got a spinning blade and 4 points, right? And if any one of those dips, the entire blade drops and will scalp. And that's why scalping is much more of a thing with rotaries. But when you have a reel mower with that big that front roller on it, if you go over a slightly uneven spot on one side of it, the rest of that front roller can take up some of the weight of the mower. While it might dip a little bit, you're not going to get the scalping nearly like you would with a rotary. So yeah, you can absolutely mow a bumpy lawn with it. You're just not going to be able to go as low. Daniel, you'll see. I mean, if you start mowing and you start getting you start hitting dirt, then that's too low. Bring it up a little bit. So I'd say even on a bumpy lawn, an inch height of cut should be achievable for most lawns. So I've not used the Sun Joe. I don't know what the height adjustment range is with it, but if you start out at around an inch, if that's what you're planning to do, that would be probably a safe bet. Most lawns can typically pull that off. And guys, as you're settling down with your beverage, your cocktail, whatever you happen to be doing, tacos, whatever you're doing, on your way in to settle down, be sure to hit the like button. It definitely helps me out, helps the channel out, lets YouTube know that we're having a great time, and we'll send more people our way to come talk about lawn care stuff. All right. On training, Professor Ron, classes in session. I'm ready for another lawn care session. I appreciate the kind words. I don't know about all that. But I really appreciate you coming to hang out in the live stream. Let's see what else we have here. So Bermuda Brian says Bermuda grass is number one. Brian, I can't disagree with you. Not that I am biased. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but the thing with Bermuda that's really nice, it's a great grass to learn lawn care on, because it's one of the few grass types that you can just beat on it and beat on it and beat on it. And as long as you have enough, as long as you got enough sunlight and you got half decent soil, it's gonna grow. And as far as a grass type to recover from mistakes, it's a great one for that too. So yeah, that's I definitely agree with you on that. And as a segue talking about Bermuda, I got a question from a viewer on overseeding, and he asked a couple things, like when, why I'm doing it, when is a good time of year to do it. And under what scenarios would you not do that? So I want to go on record to just say that if your goal is to establish a Bermuda lawn, doing it from seed is not the easy way. That is literally hard mode. That's like going out and you're playing like, if you guys ever played Street Fighter, it's like putting it on hard to start and trying to beat the game. It's definitely a harder way to do it, mainly because of like the prep that you have to do, the watering requirements that you have to take on. It's just a lot. It's a lot more than people think. And frankly, you can put down sod and be good to go. You can have a decent looking lawn, 8 weeks, 10 weeks later. So sod is definitely a superior way to establish a lawn if that's what you're trying to do. The reason why I overseeded my lawn, to make a long story short, is so whenever there were some problems with some trees that were taken out, and the sod that was put down did not match the rest of my lawn. So had I known then what I know now, I would have taken plugs from the different parts of the lawn, and I simply would have plugged that spot where the tree was and let it just grow in, because that's what Bermuda does. But instead, I overseeded with at the time, a cultivar called Princess 77. And when I put it down, I said, I'm just going to do the entire back lawn, and I'll just, I'll create like a mutt lawn. I've already got a mutt lawn because I got this big sod patch. So I'm just going to try and get a more even color throughout the lawn. And when it started growing in, I just absolutely love the color of it, of how like when Tifway and it mixed together, it's really, really, really pretty. So fast forward, Princess 77 isn't really a thing anymore. So it's been superseded by Arden 15, which is why you see me talking about Arden 15 now. Last year when I overseeded with Arden 15, I still had pre-emergent on the lawn in the spring, which is a huge no-no. So the germination that I got, which is still really, really good, was despite having a spring pre-emergent put down. So this year, because my goal is to finish out the whole seeding thing, I am not doing pre-emergent. I've told you guys this before on the live stream, but I've not done any pre-emergent. And the entire first half of the season, it's all about doing the prep work to get the lawn in as good shape as I can, get the soil as good shape as I can, to get like a great seeding project with Arden 15. So that's part of why I'm doing it. One, I just love the way the grass, the color looks. And it's something I want to finish out the project. I started it, so I really want to finish it. The scenarios where you would not do this. So I've gotten a couple of questions from viewers where they have said, I've got a Bermuda grass lawn and it's thin in some areas and I want to see to try and correct that. That's the wrong approach to take. Here's the thing. If Bermuda has enough sun and the soil is decent, like any kind of Bermuda is going to grow well. So in other words, if the existing Bermuda is not growing well in that spot, when you seed, it's not going to do well either. So, the big thing to keep in mind with Bermuda, I always say there's only a couple things you got to get right, and the big thing is sunlight. Most people, think that they can get away with having a shaded portion of their lawn and still have it do well. And Bermuda can grow, it can be all right in the shade, but it's never going to thrive. It's one of the few. That's the kryptonite of Bermuda as far as things go, is lack of sunlight. So I told the viewer I would answer the question on the live stream about why I've overseeded, how I'm doing it, and the scenarios in which you'd want to do it. And that really, it is not the most efficient way to establish a Bermuda grass lawn if that's your only goal. Like if you just love the cultivar, you love the way like that particular grass type looks, and you've got the time and inclination to go and do things the hard way, then sure, go for it. But as far as a means to correct problems or thin areas in your lawn, seeding Bermuda is not really the way I'd go about that, because any problems that you have now in your existing lawn, they're going to be a problem when the new Bermuda grows in. All right. So we have Lawn Journeys in the house. What's going on, man? I appreciate it. Thanks for coming to come hang out. And let's see, Christopher Major says, I don't even have Bermuda grass up here in Minnesota, but I still enjoy the show. I'm glad you watch anyway, Christopher. Hopefully, like a lot of what I talk about as far as mowing practices and taking care of your soil, like all that stuff really matters to all grass types. So, outside of talking about real mowers, hopefully a lot of what you're seeing on the show will be helpful. Let's see what other points we have here. Other questions. Emilio said he talked to Brett about a mower at Papabo's Low, and he's close to making a decision. That's cool, man. Definitely let us know. What you end up going with. Just let me know what you end up going with. Let's see what other questions we have here. So, out of you guys that I guess as a kind of a poll, I'm kind of interested. I know like last year I started talking a lot about Carbon Pro G and like how I've been using that in my lawn a lot. Like out of you guys that are actually on the live stream, how many of you have started doing that? I've started like incorporating, whether it be like Carbon Pro G or Humichar or some other product to help to improve like the soil quality, microbial activity in the soil. Like how many of you guys are actually starting to do that now? I'd be curious to see if you guys would mind chiming in and letting me know, because it seems like there's been a lot more movement in that space, and I'm glad to hear it because it's super important. People just like focus on fertilizer and don't spend a lot of time thinking about like, the creepy crawlies in the soil that make the fertilizer work. So awesome. Let's see. Kermit says, Ron, very pleased with your videos and podcasts. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching, because if you were not here, I would not I'd be talking to a wall, which I've been prone to do on occasions at times, but it's more fun to talk when there's someone talking back. So thanks for taking some of your time to hang out with us. LG is in the house. We have a celebrity, folks. Carbon Bro LG reporting for duty. That's gonna become a thing, man. That should go on a T-shirt. Carbon Bro LG. That you should get a shirt made up with that. That's pretty. That's pretty good. So Daniel's saying it's in the 70s in North Carolina this week. So you're kind of like us, man. Now in the 40s and more rain. I will tell you though, I was pretty happy, guys. Like getting rain today. Like I was gonna wait until the weekend to do the correction, the amendment to my soil as far as putting that dolomitic lime down. But with all the rain we had today, it was gorgeous. And the thing about it is it wasn't like a huge torrential shower where it was going to wash things out. It was like a nice steady rain like all day long, which is perfect, So all that lime got watered in really nicely. So I am good to go to hit the ground running. So yeah, it was really, I'm a fan of the rain. I mean, it's nice to be able to plan your applications around free watering. Definitely beats having to run irrigation, right? Let's see. So Mike Skellis says, "What's up, guys? Forsyth County in the house, Georgia. That's cool, man. Forsyth County is not too far from here. I actually not as much anymore, but I used to get out to Cumming pretty regularly to hang out with some friends out there for some competitive stuff that I was doing. So yeah, welcome. You're not too far away. Let's see. Okay, the first real mower question of the night. So applause must go to Phil Brown for asking the first question that is near and dear to my heart. So where would you suggest looking for a used reel mower? So there's a couple places you can. There's Facebook Marketplace. There are auction sites that you can go to. Offer Up, like Alex, his mowers that he picked up, his reel mower, he picked it up off of Offer Up. So it just depends on what you're after. So you got a lot of different options for picking one up. The big thing I would say is, Phil, is determine like what kind of mower you're looking for, whether you're going like Greensmower or whether you're going like a True Cut or one of those types, like what kind of type of mower you're going for. And then start searching. The big thing, I'm not sure where in the country you are, you didn't say, but the big criteria you want to make sure of is whenever you are picking out your mower, be sure to find out in your area where you can get it serviced. Because reel mowers are different to rotaries in the sense that, you do need to have a shop, within a reasonable amount of distance that can do grinding on the reel and bed knife. I mean, if you're not doing your own service, pretty much any place should be able to do like an oil change and spark plug. But as far as like a good example with the Greensmaster, right? Like in Georgia, we're very blessed. We're very fortunate to have tons of shops right here that can do it. And we're actually very fortunate to have like Jerry Pate, right? So these guys are like, they're a Toro dealer here in Georgia, and they specialize in their equipment, obviously, and their reel mowers. So as far as like if you lived in Georgia, I would say, if your budget will allow you to spring for one, going for like a pre-owned Greensmaster is a good way to go, because there's a lot of places around here that can take care of it. You can get all your belt work done, like anything you need as far as getting parts and service. There are places that can do that. So make sure that you do some research into that before you go down the route of actually buying something, because the last thing you want to do is go buy a mower and then you find out you got to ship it out or ship parts out, or you can't get it taken care of. So True Cuts are always good. I'm just going with what I have. I love my True Cut, and a Greensmaster is also a good one. So getting a place that can that you can work on a Toro or a True Cutter is going to be good options. But hopefully that helps. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and Offer Up. Those are places that I know people personally that have gotten mowers and have had pretty good results. All right, Sonny Bermuda's in the house. He says, "Hey guys, y'all ready to crank it out?" We are, man. I think Sonny, aren't you? I think you're in Georgia too, right? Or you're either in Georgia. I know you're in the Southeast. You're either in Georgia or you're in Alabama. I think he has, if you want to see a nice TifTuf 419 lawn, so a lawn that has not been turned into a mutt lawn by someone overseeding it like mine, like a pristine TifTuf 419 lawn, check out Sonny Bermuda's channel. Like he has a really, really good one. And he also has, I think you have the Allet, right, Sonny, that you cut yours with. So if you want to see a Allet reel mower on a TifTuf 419 lawn, check out his content. He's a good guy for that. So let's see. Christina Phillips says, "What is the difference between Arden 15 and the Bermuda that is sold at big box stores?" That's a good question. I haven't bought Bermuda. I've never bought Bermuda at any of the big box stores. The big thing with Arden 15 is that the color is really nice. The cold weather performance of the grass is nice in the sense that its ability to go into coming out of dormancy sooner and going into dormancy later is superior to a lot of like your standard Bermudas, as well as because Arden 15 is a premium Bermuda grass seed. What you'll find is that the germination rate that you'll get out of it tends to be better. Assume all things being considered, right? All things being the same. A good example, like I reached out to Hancock Seed and about like whenever like they're going to have like their 25-pound bags of Arden 15 available, and they're not making them for sale yet because they're still doing their testing and making sure they're getting the germination rates they want and that everything's going to be good to go, because it is expensive, right? If you look at the price of seed at Home Depot, I have no idea what it is, but I mean, I imagine you can probably buy a bag of seed at Home Depot for probably, I don't know what, $30, $40, $50, somewhere like that. Like 25 pounds of Arden 15 is like north of $400. So it's very expensive. So they put a lot of effort into making sure that, you know, you're going to get a decent result with it if you do your part. But as far as the big differences, just color, cold tolerance, those are the big things. It's finer, like the leaf of Arden 15 is a little bit finer than a lot of common Bermudas. And it's just beautiful, man. If you want to see, I think I have a video on my channel. I called it, I don't actually remember the actual title of the video, but it was like blue Muta, or like blue Bermuda grass that looks blue. If you look from my content last year, there's a video where the lawn was like really kicking. Everything was like just working really nice. And you can see what Arden 15 can look like, you know, when it's in full swing. It is absolutely gorgeous. So that's kind of like anything else, right? If something looks really, really good and has a lot of benefits, you're going to pay more for it. For example, the parts of my lawn where Arden 15 have taken very well, like if you guys have not seen my Instagram post, like the Arden 15 is coming out of dormancy faster than the TifTuf 419. Like it went into dormancy later and it came out of dormancy later. I might be able to show you that. Let's see here. I might be able to show you that. Let's see if I can pull that up here quickly. No, because I'm not logged into Instagram here. So, but yeah, go check out my Instagram. It's golf underscore lawn. Golf underscore course underscore lawn. Golf course lawn with underscores in between. And you'll see a video that I posted today, and the green areas you see there, that's the Arden 15. So hopefully it helps answer your question, Christina. If you're interested in seeing like how the two grass types fall off, I did a 10-week series last fall, where I documented like showing you how TifTuf 419 and Arden 15, how they kind of run neck and neck and how they fall off in dormancy. And what you find is that the TifTuf actually does really, really well. It maintains its color very well, but then once it begins to fall off, it falls off steeply. Like it's like green, yellow, brown. Whereas Arden 15 it's much more gradual. It's a very gradual fall off from like beautiful, gorgeous green all the way down to dormant. So there's that. And again, if you want to see it, there's a look on my content from the videos from like late last year. Like there's a series, there's an entire playlist on that very subject, showing you the difference between the grass. So hopefully that helps. Great question, man. Great question. Yeah, hopefully, I'm not saying you necessarily should do it, but if you're interested in seeing what Arden 15 can look like, check out that content. Let's see what other questions we have here. So LG's in the house. Andre Bell, he says, what's the best product to put down if NPK and micronutrients are low? That's a sticky question. So it's like you're asking me like which reel mower is best. So you're saying, so let's say if everything is low, so all your macronutrients, so NPK are low, and then your micronutrients, I'd personally probably go with that fertilizer that Yard Mastery just released. Like they have a starter fert that has it's a 12 that has all the macronutrients. And it also has a good assortment of all the micronutrients. So I think I can show that for you. I think I actually carry that in my store. That's the one fertilizer from theirs that I carry in my store. I can show you that, Andre. See if I can do this. Let's see if this will work. There we go. Cool. Yep. So get my face out of the way. If you bring this up here, this guy from Yard Mastery, it's a 12, right? So this has got all three. It's got your nitrogen, your phosphorus, your potassium, and it also has all the micronutrients. So if your soil test results show that you're missing everything, then this would be a good option. There's other options as well too, but this is the one that I would go with. And just to help you out, I will put a link in the description. Shameless plug. There you go. So that's what I would use. But again, and I'm assuming that you know that because you did a soil test. But that's a great option, Andre. There's tons of other ones out there too, but that's one that just from looking at the ingredients and knowing all the work that went into putting that one together, that's the one I would probably go with. Okay. Let's see. Gabriel Harry says, "Seen Ron at Site 1 lately?" No, you didn't. You missed me because I was there. I went. Let me see. When did I go? I put down the lime yesterday, and I was there the day before. So today's Friday, so I was there Wednesday evening. I went to Site 1 and actually grabbed my my lime. So if you were not there Wednesday evening, you missed me. But I was there. That's very cool. So let's see what other questions we have here. So Timothy Wolf has a question about pre-emergent. He said, regarding pre-emergent, new sod last June, is it okay to put down now? What kind of sod, Timothy? If it's Bermuda, you could probably do it. I would go at like half rate. I wouldn't like what I showed in my video where I showed just going full rate just to make it easy for people so that there's not a whole lot of complicated math. I would probably not do that on new sod if you're dealing with a Bermuda lawn. Again, Bermuda's pretty hardy. It's probably going to be fine. Like a lot of the root pruning, the root suppression that the pre-emergent can cause is probably not going to hurt your Bermuda lawn. Again, I'm assuming it's Bermuda. But just to be safe, if you want to go half rate, 0.4 ounces per 1,000, that should be fine. That should probably be fine for a Bermuda lawn. So yeah, because if you put it down in June, you had a solid July, August, September. So you had a good solid 3 months of growing before it went into dormancy. Yeah, if you want to just go at a low rate, if you really want to, you can. Again, assuming it's Bermuda, you're probably going to be fine. That's something I would probably do that. If you told me you'd done it in December, where there hadn't been any heat in the lawn yet and hadn't had a chance to really grow and like root in properly, I'd probably say no. But since you did it like summer of last year, you're probably fine. I'd just go half rate, just out of an abundance of caution. Let's see. Kermit Rodriguez says best way to get rid of tall fescue weeds. That's a good question. So it's fall. So I am not super hardcore on your cool season post-emergent or post-emergent herbicides, Kermit. Check out as far as like dealing with weeds in cool season. Check out like what's his name, GCI Turf. Like check out Pete's content or Ryan or one of those guys, any of those cool season guys, or someone in here in the comments will probably chime in with an option. Because again, the stuff that I'm familiar with is definitely going to probably do bad things to warm season grass. One thing I will say is once you actually find a herbicide that works to get rid of the weeds, mowing, like one thing I'll tell you guys, like if you guys look at my content, right? Kind of a small rant here on putting herbicides on your lawn. If you look at my content, I've got well over 300 videos on YouTube, and there's probably less than 10 that have anything to do with herbicides. And the reason for that is that if you're doing a lot of the, like all your cultural practices are good where you're mowing a lot, like so you're mowing your grass regularly at the right height with the right equipment, like, and you're making sure your soil is in good shape, like that's naturally going to encourage the grass to thicken up and grow really well. And that in itself is good weed control. You're basically creating an environment where your grass is the dominant plant. It's the alpha plant growing in that area, and the weeds have a hard time dealing with it. Like my lawn, outside of like putting pre-emergent on it, like I don't have to put anything on it. I don't spray, I don't do anything to it, throughout the year. Now we'll see. It'll be interesting to see this spring with no pre-emergent going down, what kind of weed pressure I have. If with me just doing mowing, it'll be interesting to see. I'll definitely document that so you guys can see it. But once you get an answer, Kermit, so again, check out like Pete or one of those guys and see what they offer for their recommendations around like herbicides for cool season grass. I would suggest that you really commit to mowing, like commit to a program where you're just trying to create an environment where your tall fescue is just going to grow like really awesome. And that's going to do a lot to reducing your need to use like post-emergent herbicides. Because the thing is two things. One, like a lot of the herbicides to kill weeds after the fact are more expensive. And regardless of what they say, even if you get one that's safe for your type of grass, regardless of what they say it being safe, it's still going to stress the grass. Like even though like when I put down Dismiss and speeds them, which is kind of a strong concoction. That's like coming in it with a big billy club on weeds. Like the Bermuda, that concoction is safe for Bermuda, and it was actually mixed at a lower rate, but the Bermuda still got a little bit of yellowing. It was still stressing the grass. So even though you're using a herbicide that is safe for your grass type, it's still introducing stress to it. So the best thing is to avoid having to do that at all. Use a spring pre-emergent, use a fall pre-emergent, and then mow your grass a lot and create great soil. So you're just going to have less issues with weeds. So hopefully that helps. But I'm sorry I don't have an actual product. Say go get this, and to help you out with that. But it's a great question. Let's see. So question we have here from Adam. He says around watering. He says, how often do you water your lawn? Started manual reel mowing. Congratulations. That's what I started doing too. Many moons ago. Last year around 1 1/4 inches and get tons of compliments. Isn't that the thing though? Once you start reel mowing and you get the lawn looking all nice and you're a little bit lower height, how the neighbors and everyone start taking notice. I tell you, there's nothing like a reel mowed lawn. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. As far as watering, Bermuda, I'll give you the standard boilerplate answer. Like an inch of water per week is pretty much what you have to go with. Now, here's the thing: if you can focus on improving the soil, so if you start adding like carbon to the soil, and you also work on like cutting your grass, like kind of what you're doing now with a reel mower, where you're creating like a denser, thicker turf. What you're going to find is the soil is going to be able to retain more water. It's going to be able to retain more moisture. So you're going to be able to get away with watering a little bit less. But the standard answer, if you can, is once per week, heavily, 1 inch of water. I have not watered my lawn at all. Well, actually, that's not true. Whenever I put down when I sprayed my Release Zero, I did. After it sat on the lawn for like 4 hours, I did run the irrigation for like a 5-minute cycle on every little zone to kind of water it in a little bit. But as far as like watering for the purpose of irrigation purposes, I haven't done that at all. And I haven't had to because we've had so much rain over the winter months. And it looks like even into the spring, really, I normally don't have to start watering until mid to late April. That's when I have to start turning irrigation on. That's when I'll start doing it. But this year, I'm also going to do an experiment because I've been hearing a lot about this product, Hydrotain. And everyone's saying it's a great way to reduce water requirements, cuts watering in half, and all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to be trying that out this year. I'm definitely I might put that down sometime next month. Like I'll do an application next month, and then I'll do it again whenever I do my overseeding because I want to do all I can to keep moisture on the seeds, just to see what that really does as far as helping with reducing watering requirements. But the short answer to your question is, Adam, in Georgia, in my area, it's probably going to be into April when I'll have to start watering, depending on what happens, right? If we get no more rain in the entire month of March, I'll have to water then. But normally, April is when I have to start running irrigation, typically once per week, and run it heavy enough that you can get down half an inch to an inch of water, somewhere in there. I mean, you can look at your grass and see. The big thing is you also don't want to overwater either. So hopefully that helps. I know I kind of went off on a rant there, but April and an inch of water, and only when the grass really needs it. All right, Matt the Gorge in the house. He says, what's up, real brother Ron? What's up, Matt? No, Matt, yeah, you got a reel mower too. You have to remind me, like, drop a comment in the chat which one you got. I think you just recently got a reel mower. Was it an Owlet that you got? Is it an Owlet or a Swardman? I thought, but maybe I'm mistaken here. BYD Bermuda Grass Central's in the house. What's going on, man? We got a celebrity in the house. And he says that he said it's the batteries. Is that what kills you? So I think he's talking about that comment about the electric mowers, that batteries. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the batteries are not inexpensive. A good example, like the batteries for the Flow Zone are pretty pricey. Like my Flow Zone backpack spray, I think the batteries are almost $100 for one of them. I don't want to misquote here and get gate hate mail, but it's batteries for electric stuff. When you have to replace them, they are pricey. So just something to keep in mind that when you are going down that whole electric route, that if when it gets to the point where you have to go and replace batteries, it's gonna be expensive. Yeah, so a good example, like replacing the battery for my Flow Zone, whenever I have to go around and doing that, it's gonna be $130. So that's the downside. But if you're doing a good job, like you're cycling, like you're running them down, not necessarily all the way down, but you're cycling them well, where you're running them down and charging them up and just doing good practices to take care of them, they should last a long time. So it's not like you're gonna be doing that every single year. All right, so a bunch of plugs here for The Ego, everyone's saying the Ego makes a great blower. Lawn Journeys is saying have an Ego, Edger, and blower. Shameless plugs for videos back on my channel. Don't get mad, Ron. I'm not mad at all, man. No, by all means, if you've got good content on Ego mowers, definitely go check it out. It's not content that I will probably ever make, because I'm not gonna. I don't have a rotary mower. So if someone has a question about it, I mean, here's the thing, Lawn Journeys. It's not only about real mowers. I mean, as much as I like to think that, there's people that don't have real mowers, and actually, like, us real mower guys are kind of in the minority. And I want everybody to have an awesome lawn, regardless of what you're working with. So yeah, if you can help them out, you have some good content to help people make a good decision on a mower, then by all means, check it out. All right, so Bermuda Brian says, going to do anything with Tony's lawn this year. We kind of already have, Bermuda Brian. If you saw my video on applying, the video that showed applying both image and Prodiamine, that video, that was actually shot on Tony's lawn. So we did, we've already put down a pre-emerge on his lawn, and here in the next week or so, like we have to put down some Pro-Scape on, we have to use like some fertilizer on Alex's lawn, probably gonna use Pro-Scape, something from Lebanon Turf, and on Tony's lawn, same kind of thing. So we're at the point now where we need to start putting that granular down, and you guys will see. I'll definitely film it so you guys can check it out, or at a minimum, I'll do a post. You'll know what we're doing to his lawn, but I'll film it so you guys can kind of keep track of what's going on with his lawn. Tony was a little bit bummed whenever we were putting the Prodiamine down. He was at work and he's like, "You guys are doing it without me?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. This is the time when we got to do it, so we're gonna go get it done." So Tony will make an appearance on the channel again. I'm pretty sure. All right. So SoCal Lounge in order says you're at 74 degrees. I think you're saying you're 74 degrees. You're not 74 today. Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. Must be nice to have the really awesome weather of Southern California. Okay, let's see what other questions we have. Eric Mayberry. Eric, welcome. I think you're new to the live stream. I don't remember seeing your name before. It's wet and cool in Brazelton. Yeah. Same thing in my area. It's definitely the same thing. It was a wet and cool day compared to the other days. Today was cooler, but plenty of rain. I'm not complaining. I am not complaining. Let's see. Lawn Journey says New Jersey hit 47 degrees. This snow melted for the most part. Got his soil samples collected this week. Awesome. Good. And guys, I'm telling you, this is a good time if you've not yet got your soil samples done. Go to My Soil, pick up one of these bad boys. You can get your soil test done a week from the time you mail it out. You're gonna have your results, and you'll be able to intelligently fertilize your lawn, add products to your lawn. If you need to get one, shameless plug, you can go here to the golfcourselawnsstore.com. I have like all the different packs, the singles, the pro packs, all that stuff. And yeah, I really like their products. As you guys saw from my my video that I released this morning, showing like all the trend data. Like, I'm not only saying this if I actually do it, I actually use their products because I believe in it that strongly. It's good information to have as far as getting the most out of your lawn. Let's see what Saul Rodriguez says. Hey Saul, what's going on? He says 75 degrees here in Southern Cali. Bermuda's greening up nicely. Nice. Earlier than the past 3 years. It's cool. How much nitrogen should I put down right about now? Now, what do you think I'm going to say, Saul? What do you think my answer is going to be? Like, I'll give you a hint. I'm just going to put this here in the background. I'm going to look away for a second. What do you think I'm going to say? You should probably do a soil test to know like where your nitrogen is. But if you want to start out, if you're not going to do that. I mean, here's the thing. For Bermuda, you don't really want to exceed more than a pound to pounds and a half per month. With you being in Southern California, you said you're just starting to green up. So if you get down half a pound, 3/4 pound of nitrogen to kind of just wake the lawn up, help give it enough food to begin growing, that's going to be fine. So you can choose whatever fert you want to go with. Like that line of fertilizers that Yardmaster just came out with is pretty good. But yeah, just anything you want to put down now, just go a little lighter on the nitrogen is going to help. So half a pound to 3/4 pound for the first month as it's coming out of dormancy, just to give it some food. But get a soil test done because you might not only need nitrogen, you might need some other stuff. So it'd be good to, if you're going to be out there slaving away with the broadcast spreader, that you're putting down other products, the other nutrients that the lawn needs as well. So very cool. Okay, so question about top dressing, my other favorite subject other than real mowers. Never Stop Cruising says, hey Ron, is sand the best / most permanent option to bring up a low area of a lawn versus say compost? Permanent is it better? Yes. Permanent, I would say it's permanent because remember, anything like the lawn is fluid, right? Like if you get if you get heavy rain, you get a lot of wear on the lawn. Like all those things will help. Is eventually going to put wear on it and move whatever you put down around. But compared to compost, yes, sand is a much better option. Compost is rich in organic material, but the problem with compost is that it's going to break down. And what could happen is a year from now or so, you could find yourself back. Back to where you started. Maybe not quite as bad back to where you started, but you want to sand. If leveling is your goal, sand is the better choice. So the way I would do it, if you're going to use like a sand compost mix, like that's the way you're going to go. Like a 70-30 blend works well. The only negative to doing that, and you could have seen that on my lawn if you saw the videos I did last year on like the spurge outbreak I had whenever I did the first top dressing in the season, is whenever you start bringing in like compost, topsoil, or anything like that, inadvertently you are going to bring in some weeds along with that. So if you decide to go the 70-30 mix, know that you may have to deal with some weeds after the fact, but you can get a level lawn. So that's all par for the course. Another option is to do something like to use 100% sand. And as far as using your process for using or putting on organic material, you can use something like Carbon Pro G. You can use if you have a broadcast spread, or you have a way to spread it, like the carbonized PN from Miramichi Green is also pretty good. But that stuff you really can't put down with a broadcast spreader. You need some kind of like a top dressing machine, or you're gonna have to you have to cast it manually on your lawn. But if it were me, if you're asking me like if spending a little bit more is in the cards for you, the way I would top dress your lawn is I would aerate heavily. I would put down a nice starter fertilizer, a nice little nitrogen kick to give the grass a little boost to begin coming back sooner. I would put down like some kind of carbon, some kind of rich organic source that's clean, and then I would top dress with 100% sand on top of that. That's going to get you, in my opinion, a really, really good result without introducing weeds to your lawn. And you're going to be, and the nice thing about a lot of the carbon products is not only are you getting like compost, but you're getting biochar, and like with the thing with Carbon Pro G, it's kind of cool is you also get like a microbial package that goes in with it. So you're feeding the soil, you're feeding the chemistry, all the biology in the soil, in addition to getting that rich organic material. So that would be my recommendation. But that is a more expensive way to go than just doing sand, a 70-30 sand soil mix. But I under no circumstances would I ever tell you to do 100% compost if you're trying to level, because you're gonna be right back where you started. If you do that in a year or so. Great question though. Great question. Brandon Barr says, is his 40s in Iowa time to bust out the shorts? I think not, sir. All right. So Brandon Lezon, he says, I got the new 2021 Toro 60-volt mower today. Nice. Those are sweet. I think Alan had one of those, and I think you saw it on Instagram. He had one of those. They look pretty sweet. Called Vortex Technology, which is supposed to mulch even better. I'm sure it is, man. I mean, Toro doesn't make bad stuff. It's not cheap, but they typically build some pretty good equipment. So I'm sure that you're going to have a lot of fun with it. Definitely let me know if you're going to be regular in the live stream, Brian. Definitely let me know how the Vortex does for you, like how you end up liking it. Okay, so we have another chime in here about the $600 budget for electric. So Super TA says, for $600 budget, I would start with the Works 20-volt weed whacker, which can be used as an edger and comes with a blower for around $100 on sale. So there you go. There's another option from Works. So yeah, a lot of the guys in the chat are gonna have options for electrics. I simply know anything about that particular subject. All right, so Nestor Reyes says, any thoughts on Pro Pete fertilizer? I don't really have an opinion. I've never really used it. I guess I could take a dig into it, take a look at it after the live stream, and maybe talk about what my thoughts are next week. But yeah, I've never really used the product to be able to say anything good or bad about it. It's probably fine. Most products, here's the thing, most lawn care products, if they are not very good, they tend to not stay on the market very long. So, if Pro Pete's been around for a while and you see good reviews about it, it's probably fine. But I can't comment personally because I've never quite used it. But great question. Yeah, Moro says, dude, I'm sorry to hear that. He says, sorry for being out of touch. Sister went down with COVID. Life's been rough. She's almost back home. Sorry to hear that, man. That's not fun. A lot of people are going through that. So I'm glad to hear that at least she's almost back home and doing better. So yeah, sorry to hear that. That's not a fun thing to have to deal with. All right. So Daniel says it's the first time tank sprayed today. Prodiamine and image mix. First time spraying. Period. First time spraying. Period. Wow, you really went for something hardcore, didn't you? And you said took my soil sample first thing and then sent the sample today. Awesome, Daniel. That's really cool. It's really cool that you're taking on the challenge of doing your own pre-emergent. I guess because you put down image, you had some maybe some POA or something that you were trying to deal with. The thing is, it's really not hard. Like the actual mixing of the products, especially like something like Prodiamine, which is relatively easy to mix, is not hard. The hardest thing about, in my opinion, about using a backpack spray, about using liquids, is not necessarily the mixing part. It's learning what your walking pace needs to be to make sure that you're putting down the product at the correct rate. So, like, for a good example, I had a comment from a viewer 2 days ago where he said that, hey, I mixed Prodiamine at half rate, and I have a 4-gallon sprayer, and I walked at 4,000 square feet. I was done, and I still had more, so I went on to the other parts of my lawn. I mean, that's fine and good, but you're not putting it down at that rate, because remember, if we're doing the whole thing of the calculation of 1 gallon over 1,000 square feet, like whatever you put in that sprayer really needs to go down over 1,000 square feet. And the way you learn that over time is by doing a calibration test. If you have a flow zone sprayer, I've already told you what your numbers are going to be. Like for a flow zone Typhoon 2, at the higher rate, it's 91 seconds for that you're going to have to cover 1,000 square feet, which pretty much means you can walk as fast as you dare walk, and you're going to be fine. Like with me, it's a very, very brisk pace to be able to cover 1,000 square feet in 91 seconds. And then if you decide you want to walk at a slower pace, you can flip it down to the 70 PSI setting, and you'll have 106 seconds to cover 1,000 square feet. So that's probably a little bit more reasonable for most people. But the big thing is, once you know with that data, what I would do is at least one time measure out like a 20 by 56 section of your lawn, and to practice walking, you just have water in your sprayer and just walk it and time yourself, so you can kind of learn to feel like what walking that pace with the sprayer feels like. So that way, whenever you start applying products, you're going to get a better result. See what I'm saying? So mixing is not the hard part. It's making sure that you're walking at a pace that is close to where you should be, so that you get a good application. So you're applying the product at the right rate. But congratulations, man. It's a big step. I know a lot of people are intimidated for mixing products. So I'm glad that you were able to do that and get a good result. That's it's pretty awesome. Let's see. So Kevin D. Jones in the house. He says, hey, Ron, Bermuda Grass Central shouted you out. Irrigation installed. I need a recommendation on a lawn leveling rake. Yeah, I could do that. So as far as lawn leveling rakes, the one that I use and really love is the one from R&R Products. I don't know if I can't pull it up here, but just go to R&R, search R&R Products, and I think they call it, I'm not sure they call it the level lawn or whatever the actual name of it is. But it's a really good leveling rake. I like mine. Unfortunately, they're not cheap. But they are very good. Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, so I can show you here what it looks like. This is the 36 incher. We got to work their site a little faster. I'll bring it up. So yeah, so right here, this is the guy that I had. Let me move over so down a little bit. So right there, this particular rake that looks like that, that's the one that this is the brand that I have. Mine is the wider one. It's the 40 inch. I think they make these into 36. I think they make them in 40. I think they make them in 48 inches. But this is the one that I went with. It's built really, really well. They're not inexpensive, but it's a really good product. Like, you're gonna buy one of them, and then you're gonna be like, you're gonna have a bunch of new best friends in your neighborhood anyone that top dresses, because they're built really, really well. So that is what I'd go with. And they have enough weight that the weight of the rake does a lot of the work. Like, if you guys saw the video that I did on leveling the front lawn, like how to drag the sand in on the front lawn, the weight of that rake is so nice that literally you can plop it down on the lawn and literally just drag it down, not adding any downward pressure. And it does a really good job kind of doing planing the turf to get a nice smooth result. So I would go with something like that. You can build your own, but unless you're pretty handy, you're probably going to come out better. Better use your time just getting one of these. So great question. Let's put Kenneth from Norway, from overseas, man. Hey, Kenneth from Norway, welcome, man. Just Kenneth from Norway. Hello, Europe. No, Kenneth. Let me ask you a question. Why did you have to put Europe in there? Do you not think that Americans know where Norway is? We know. Some of us are up on our geography. I know that Norway is in Europe. He says, I'm a cool season guy, but love your content. Well, thank you for watching, sir. I'm just giving you a hard time. Don't think I'm messing with you, but yes, it's cool to know that even in Norway, you guys are watching. The thing is, man, Norway, it's got to be, what time? It's almost 8 o'clock here. So Norway, past midnight. So if you are actively up right now in Norway watching this, I definitely appreciate you. So yeah, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Awesome. I imagine in Norway it's all cool season grass because you guys are like snow is like a perma thing there, right? All right, let's see what other questions we have here. Chubby Donut says, hello, Chubby Donut. I just had to put you up on the name because I love the name. It's a really cool name. So yeah. So this is a good question here from Dimitri. He says, "Hi Ron, will pre-emergent inhibit Bermuda from spreading?" No, not really. Not if you apply it at the correct rate. No, I mean once the soil is where it needs to be, like you've got fairly decent soil, and once the heat hits, as long as you're giving Bermuda enough nitrogen, and there's enough heat, enough direct sunlight, just sit back and watch it go. It's you shouldn't have any problem with it. Again, if you're applying it at the proper rate, right? Because Prodiamine is plenty safe for Bermuda. You just got to apply it at the at the specified rate. So for warm season grass, like max rate for the entire year is 0.83. I always say 0.80 just to give myself tell you guys a little headroom because it makes the math easier. But if you're concerned about it, like if you got a new lawn, like a lawn that was sodded last year and you don't want to go super heavy, you can go at half rate. You could do like the split app thing. So you could go at like 0.40 now, and then once soil temps cross 65 degrees, you could put down your other half. Or if you're going to do it, if you want to do like a like if you want to save some of your allotment for the fall, you could go at 0.20 now. You could go at 0.20 in like Mayish, whenever soil temps cross 65 degrees. Again, I'm talking like I'm in Georgia. And then your the little half you have left, so that the 0.40 that you have left, you can save that for the fall if your goal is to do Prodiamine for for your only pre-emergent the entire year. So, but no, to answer your question, no. Apply at the right rate, it shouldn't hurt anything. Let's see. So Gary Gale here is throwing shade. He says, "Hey Ron, the fastest way to green up your lawn right before a families get together. I have a celebration Bermuda, and my lawn is like 90% green right now. And if I have a link, yeah. So if you're trying to get your lawn to green up quickly and pop quickly, like a liquid, like a spray fertilizer, liquid fert is really good. Like before the 4th of July last year, when we were having a company over and had like a big fireworks thing, I broke out the Brand Supreme Green, broke out the good stuff, and sprayed that like 3 days prior to when everyone was coming over, because that's really gonna put a jolt of iron, a jolt of nitrogen. You're gonna really allow the lawn to really pop. If you want a good option, because Brent Supreme Green is practically impossible to get, you can go with this. This is the stuff I sprayed on my lawn a couple of days ago. It's called Turfplex from, come on, focus. Turfplex from BioPro. Great product. It's, in addition to having, fast release fertilizer, fairly quick release fertilizer, so you get that quick green up. It's also got some iron, some manganese, some zinc. It's got a good little micronutrient package as well to help with green up. And if you want a link for that, Gary, let me see. Just go to my site. Just go here, Ron at Golf Course. Just go to golfcourselawn.store, and it's on there. But to make it easy for you, I will I'll put it in the chat for you here. So at Gary Gale, and boom, there you go. Thank you so much. So yeah, so that is what I would use. Any kind of a liquid fert is going to, like probably I'd say 3 days before when you want things to look really nice, like 3 days before, spray that down. Again, this goes down and it's not very much nitrogen, but it's very, very quick release. So even at the rate that you would mix this, if you get this, Gary, you're going to want to do this at 6 ounces per 1,000. That's the low rate, and you're only going to be putting down 1/10 of a pound of nitrogen on your lawn. So it's not very much, but it's enough to give the lawn a nice little jolt and bloom up and look really, really pretty. So yeah, and my lawn is seeing the results from it. It's not, we don't even have heat yet. I put this down 2 days ago, and you're already, again, check out my Instagram, you guys can see how the lawn is already getting a nice flush of green across it, which is pretty cool. And I haven't put granular down yet. It's just been this liquid and the release 0. So very, very, very cool. I got some super chats I got to get to here. Let me get down here and take care of those. I'm slacking. The reason why I'm afraid to scroll down, because then I got to scroll back up and find where I was before. That's the hard part. So super chat from Lee Farmer. Super chat received. I really appreciate it, Lee. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Let's see. We have a message from Cheryl. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Super chat received. You're very welcome. And then from Super TA. Received. And then a question from Kai, where he says,
Super chat received.
it says, hey Ron, any advice on making a putting green with Arden 15 Bermuda and a McLean reel mower? Sure, I can talk. I mean, here's the thing. I've not done a putting green, but I can tell you what's going to be involved in that. Let me scroll back up here and find out where I left off. Yeah, so as far as getting a putting green with a McLean, I mean, it should be doable. It's a real mower, but the thing is, the putting green, you're really signing up for a lot of work, Kai or Cal, if you're going after that, because what you're talking about to keep it looking nice, you're talking about mowing it like what golf courses do, which is going to mean mowing it every day. You're definitely going to have to level that area, use 100% sand, get it nice and flat, and then slowly work your way down. You may have to start at like half an inch and just slowly keep lowering the height of cut. And just keep cutting it and cutting it. The more frequently you cut it, the more it's going to thicken up and get denser. But Arden 15 is a good option for that. I don't know that you can get Arden 15 quite down to like putting green heights, but you can go pretty low for it. I mean, certainly like 0.3 of an inch should probably be doable. But again, just realize that you're signing up for a whole lot of mowing. Like, I mean, if you think that what I do right now is a lot of work, which is mowing every 3 times a week, thereabouts, during the prime of the mowing season. With a putting green, if you want to get it nice and keep it nice, you're really going to be mowing it every day. So great question. Hopefully that helps. And just know what you are signing up for. BYD talked about his video, and he said, that he almost killed his son. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. Jose Lujan says, hello, Ron. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. You're very welcome, sir. I am still learning a ton, but the little bit that I do know, I'm very happy to share with you guys. And if I can help you get just a little bit faster in your journey on getting your lawn awesome, I am very, very happy to do so. So thank you for the kind words and appreciate you watching the content. All right, Thomas Robinson, question about leveling. Good question. He says, I am planning on leveling the lawn. Where's a great place to get the 70-30 mix? Go Dogs. I love this question. He even ended it properly. Well done, sir. So here's the thing. If you are in Georgia, if you're in like Northeast Georgia, you can get it from where I got mine, which was Landscape Plus in Gainesville. The guy that runs the place, Mike's a really good guy. He will, they can do the 70-30 mix for you and they'll deliver it. So depending on where you are, you can get it. There are other places that if you're not in Northeast Georgia, it might not be worth it from a standpoint of what delivery fee might cost. But certainly you can find places in this area that will do it. I think there's a company called Riversand Inc. Like, they specialize in that material. You can try them out. If you're looking for a 70-30 mix, give Landscape Plus a call. They can probably help you out, or just find out somewhere that, if you're not around here, find a place that's local that will do it. But good. It's not time yet to do that. If you're in Georgia, I assume you are because you're a Bulldogs fan. Not quite time to do that yet. I would wait until midway May, early June to get into the whole top dressing thing, because that's when the grass is going to be growing pretty aggressively. So great question though. Great question. Justin Reeves says, what would you say is the optimal height of cut for Emerald Zoysia, Birmingham, Alabama? Depends on what you're what you're using to cut it. Justin, if you can, if you have a reel mower, if you're using a reel mower, you can cut it pretty close to the same height as you can cut Bermuda. You can get it down to 3/4 of an inch, half an inch. That shouldn't be a problem at all. But you need the right tool to do that. So you need like a reel mower to do that with Emerald Zoysia. And just realize that as you mow it lower, it's going to thicken up, get really dense and thick, which is again, it's like natural weed control. But a lot of your mowing height, like if you get online, you'll look at like you Google like mowing height for Zoysia, you'll see like 1 to 2 inches, because Google is like giving you the rotary mower option, because most people don't have reel mowers. But if you have like the right tool for warm season grass, which is a reel mower, then you can bring it down a little lower and it's going to be fine. And you're also, like I said, you're going to get natural weed control in the process from doing that. So great question. All right, I got to catch up, man. I'm going slow tonight. Okay, Static Alpha says, hey, Ron, my Bermuda barely grows on the side of the house due to lack of sun. That I can see that. My question is, what should I do there? Landscaping, rocks, mulch? I want something nice without breaking the bank. Mulch is probably your best bet. Like rocks, I think rocks are probably more expensive to do than mulch, Static Alpha. And yeah, because the Bermuda, even if the Bermuda will grow there, it's going to be thinner. That's the problem with it. Like it doesn't take very much shade for Bermuda to begin thinning out. Like again, if you guys looked at this, those little three shrubs that are in the back on my back lawn, like they don't put out that much shade, but they cast enough shade that compared to the rest of the lawn, like the Bermuda right there thins out, noticeably. And that's talking about a lawn that's like babied and gets like everything, and it still thins out. So to answer your question, mulch is what I would go with. That's what I did. Just like put some like nice decorative, like a nice border or something, so you have something nice to edge against. And then just do mulch. That is probably the cheapest route. That is what I would do. That's what I did. All right. Emilio has a question about Scott's starter fertilizer. He said, "What's your opinion of Scott's starter fertilizer and weed preventer? Still a bit hesitant about liquid fertilizer. Better granular option." Yeah. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with Scott's fertilizer and weed preventer. So if you're talking about the weed and feed product, if you want to do that like now, like if you want to do like a weed and feed right now in the beginning of the season, like that's what you want to wake the lawn up with, and like if you got some weeds that you're trying to knock back, you could do it. I'm just not a fan of weed and feed lawns, weed and feed products so much because like I don't like putting herbicides on my lawn unless there's a really good reason for it, right? But if you are going to do it, like doing it now is not a bad idea, and then switch to just the Scott's fertilizer that is just fertilizer that does not contain herbicide in it every time you spray it. So nothing wrong with that. And as far as liquid fertilizer, it's the same thing, man. Liquid fertilizer really isn't hard. It's the big thing is you like kind of was saying earlier about like your walking pace, like that becomes important because when you're putting down a liquid, like the 1 gallon per 1,000 square foot rule, you want to make sure you're actually doing that. And with a lot of liquid products, you want to make sure that you have, from a convenience standpoint, so that you have irrigation as well to, as far as a question, as well to be able to, so let me see, to be able to do that. Sorry, lost my my train of thought. Let's see here. I'm looking for other comments, other questions. What else do we have? George, Princess Cut Lawn Care, says it's almost 50 degrees here in Chicago today. Spring is coming. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, Princess. I'm glad that you're finally getting rid of some of the snow. I'm looking for a super chat here that I missed. Let's see here. And all right. Okay, good. There, I found it. Okay, so Trin Jave is talking about Carbon Pro G and Carbon Pro L. He says they're not for sale in California. Same for most humic carbon products I'm aware of. What is a good granular product to use for soil improvement? That's a good one, man. I'm not sure, Trin Dave. I don't know why, because the thing is, their products are like, they're all about the environment. They're all really green. So I don't understand why in California they're not for sale. Unless like California has some law, like they're maybe making you have to disclose like the ingredients of what's in it or something like that. Like maybe that's what's causing it. But I don't know. I don't have an option for you. I mean, check and see. Maybe Humichar, see if Anderson's stuff is available. If their stuff is available for sale in California, that might work. But yeah, I don't have one for you because I've not really had the question as far as dealing with people in California not being able to get Carbon Pro G. Let's see, ThimG says, won't answer your question. Will Pre-Emergent stop Bermuda from spraying until it wears off? I already answered your question, but sorry, it took me a while to get to it, man. There's a lot of questions in the chat, but I appreciate you asking, Dimitri. All right, so we have a question here from Daniel Ferraz. He says, I'll be Fiskars manual real mowing my 5,000 square foot lawn this season. And so that's good, man. You're starting out with a Fiskars. I've not used. That's the one real mower I've not tried. I've heard mixed things about them, but I mean the videos that I've seen look like they cut pretty well. And a lot of people seem to be a big fan of. There's this manual one, an 18-inch one that's like an 8 blade that people seem to really like too. So, but yeah, congratulations, Daniel, on having the Fiskars. And glad that it is it's gonna work out well for him. I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. Let's see what other questions we have here. Mike Skeel says, Ron, what's your best opinion? The best place to find a used Toro Greensmaster in the Atlanta area? Like I was saying, man, like OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, like the Weeks auction. Those are places you can actually go and find a pre-owned Greensmaster. You know what? Call Jerry Pate. Call those guys and see. They might have some pre-owned ones or ones that they took in for sale. Because I know they rent equipment. They very well might have a Greensmaster. They might be able to tell you where you can get a good one. So that's an option too. But yeah, give Jerry Pate a call and see what they can help you out. But other than that, look at the auction sites. Look at Facebook Marketplace. Look at OfferUp. Those are all great options. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? What other points do we have? Okay, so the yard is talking about a $300 a bag for quality seed and $600 water bill later, till you can have a Bermuda lawn in 17 days. Yeah, that's, you know what, you're right. The yard, that is the truth, man. That is the truth. That's the truth of seeding Bermuda. Like, the seed is expensive, and then really, depending on the size of your lawn, you're looking at a pretty hefty water bill for the month that you are keeping the seed moist. So again, it's not an inexpensive thing to take on. So just something to keep in mind. That's why kind of like I started out there in the beginning talking about seeding, that, really you have to have a really good reason to want to do it, and you have to have the desire, and you're gonna have to have the resources, the money to be able to buy the seed and do everything that's involved with taking care of it. All right. So Helmet Ruckus says he got his first test results in. I remember from the live stream, looked at the timestamp, the Magic Out Plus from Golf Course Lawn at Store, done, easy, 1, 2, 3, perfect, awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that was useful for you, Helmet. I mean, the Magic Out product is a good product. I mean, if you can find lime locally, you're going to save quite a bit of money doing that. Like lime, if you can go to Site One or some other garden store, you're going to find it cheaper than you can find it online, because the challenge with a lot of granular products is shipping. Shipping of them is very expensive. So, but I'm glad that you were able to get it. I'm glad that it went down, that you had no issues whatsoever. And if I can help with anything else, definitely let me know. Let's see what other questions we have for. So Zoe has a question about correcting soil pH. Says, when do you correct your soil in late winter or early part of spring? So it depends on what you're doing, Zoe. If you're trying to correct pH, like if you're trying to put down like lime, like in Georgia, a big thing here typically is at least the soil in this area tends to be more acidic. So a lot of the lawn care places tend to put down lime as part of their treatment in the late fall. And you can do that in the wintertime. So throughout anytime is a good time to apply lime. There's not really a negative time for doing it. As far as doing your other corrections, like if your nitrogen is really deficient, I might wait till around like now to do that, because to be completely honest, like the grass is not really going to take advantage of putting a bunch of nitrogen in the dead of winter. So like right before the spring, like spring that time now, when the lawn is beginning to wake up, when temps are getting where they need to be for the grass to grow, now would be a good time to do your those types of correction. But pH corrections, pretty much any time for the most part, especially assuming it's lime what you're adding. And then for like NPK, when the lawn's about to wake up. So in Georgia, now would be a good time to get your soil test done and to make those types of corrections. Let's see. So we got a vote here from Tim on Humichar and Biochar. So there you go. That's a good option. Some people really like that. Let's see here. Marcilio says, I picked up some Country Club Maximum Dispersion, so MD, and some Brand Supreme Green at Central Turf and Irrigation. Are you steering away from those two? I noticed your new selection. Yeah, Moro. Yeah, so the thing is that I'm not going away from Lebanon Turf Fertilizer. I'm still going to be using Lebanon Turf Ferts. Like that's definitely going to be a thing. That's not going away. Brand Supreme Green, it's just hard to get. Literally, I've been trying to figure out a way to find it online. I've asked like some online sellers of like carry Brand products. Hey, would you guys mind carrying Brand Supreme Green? So I can tell people where to go get the stuff if they want to get it. And like no one seems interested, largely because I think that it comes in 2.5 gallon containers, which is kind of challenging to ship. Like the shipping for that is pretty expensive. You start getting into the shipping prices associated with like granular fertilizer products. So when I started doing my research over this past winter, I came across, really what happened is I started researching ways to keep moisture in the soil for my seeding project that I'm planning to do like later on this year. And I came across BioPro, and I started looking at their liquid line of fertilizer. And I was like, I mean, so it's got like, a little bit of fast release fertilizer. It's got a macronutrient stack. It's also got some kelp in it. So like, this seems like this is better, at least on the bottle, is a better product than what I was using before as far as Brand Supreme Green. So I decided to switch to it because it's something that you guys can also get. And it's a superior product as far as like ingredients show. And for my first application with it, I'm happy with what I'm seeing so far. Again, I put it down 2 days ago, and I'm already seeing a nice like flush of green kind of come across the lawn. And again, if you want to see that, check out my Instagram. You can see the results for it. So I'm really liking it. But the Lebanon turf fertilizer is not going. That's not going away. That's going to be a thing. Like if I'm changing, it's going to be as good or better. So if you see me changing products, it's going to be at least an equivalent, or it's going to be a better product. So yeah, but great question. If you have Brand Supreme Green, use it. It's an excellent liquid fertilizer. I've used it for 2-3 years. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. So, and it works really, really well. As far as the sweet spot, Moro, I think the label says 3 to 6 ounces. Like 4 ounces is what I did a lot of times if you're going to use it fairly regularly. So hopefully that helps. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. So Alexander Baxter says, is there any pre-emergent that can be used when seeding Bermuda? I know tenacity is no go per label. Not that I'm aware of, Alexander. If there are, I don't know of any. Because the reason why you typically don't want to do that when you're seeding anything when it comes to pre-emergent is that most of them work by doing by suppressing the ability of the weeds to grow roots. That's how they don't germinate. And because whenever you seed, and the first thing seeds start doing is growing roots to be able to get nutrients so they can begin their top growth. Pre-emergent doesn't discriminate, right? It's like it's non-selective. It's gonna hurt Bermuda grass seed too. So you kind of have to pick what you want whenever you decide you're going to seed Bermuda. If that's your goal for the year, just don't apply a spring pre-emergent. That's just what it's going to have to be, because if you do, you're gonna be working against yourself. You are gonna hurt the results that you can get from your lawn if you from your seeding project if you put down pre-emergent. I am not aware of any pre-emergents that are selective for and safe for Bermuda seeds. So sorry, I don't have a better answer for you. Hey John, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming in. Great to have you in the live stream. John, who's I think you're in Louisiana is where you are. So thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. And then yeah, Ecstatic Alpha says, I'm using Carbon Pro G after your recommendation. Yep, dude, man, Carbon Pro G is good stuff. It is good stuff. Like I'm looking at Carbon Pro. I still use Carbon Pro G. Miramichi Green also makes another product called Essential G. It's like in a green bag. It's also granular. It's like a prill similar to Carbon Pro G, which is kind of cool. It's also an alternative too. But if you got a site one nearby, like Carbon Pro G is the one to go with. It's the price on it. It's really good, and it's a really, really good product. Like I really am a big fan of it. Very big fan of it. Let's see. Let's see what we have here. Tim is saying he uses Anderson's and Lawn Mastery stuff. Whatever's in the stock is what I buy. I don't have a preference. Cool. Very, very cool. Let's see. Dwayne says, Ron, what are your questions on Anderson's Humichar? I can't really say. I've never used it, so I can't say for sure, Dwayne. So I don't really like to offer opinions on products that I haven't used. I'm looking at the ingredients. It looks okay, but I've never really used it, so I can't really comment for sure. Let's see what questions we have here. So we got one from Donnell Burrell. He says, hey Ron, Alabama checking in. What's going on? He says, I had a tree that died. I cut it down and I want to grind up the root and put a patch of Bermuda sod in place. If I put down the sod now, do you think it'll blend in? Hard to say. Depends on, if you know what kind of existing Bermuda you have, it might. I had this issue that you did. I had a tree that was taken out and I put down sod and it didn't match, exactly. So it also depends on how picky you are too, right? Some people, just as long as it's green and the grass texture looks similar, they're fine with it. But other people want it to look exactly the same. And if that's the case, the best way to ensure that it matches exactly, and it's going to mean that you're going to have kind of an eyesore in that area, is to, once the tree's removed, and you've got that area leveled, just simply do plugs from different parts of the lawn and transport plugs to the area where the tree was. That is the surefire way that whatever grows in there is going to match. But if you put sod down, it's kind of a gamble as far as if you're going to get a good result as far as it matching up. So it just depends on what you can tolerate. I'd be surprised if it matched exactly. It's not saying it's impossible, but I'd be surprised, especially if they're your existing lawn is an older one and the sod they're putting in is one of the newer ones. It's still Bermuda, but it might not match up exactly. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Jose has a question about starter fertilizer. Say, I'm in Dallas, Texas area, and I would like to know if it's too early to start up with some 13 fertilizer application. Thanks. I don't. What are the temps like in Dallas, Jose? You know, if you have Bermuda and you're starting to see a little bit of green, like if you look at the lawn and you're starting to see like a little bit of like green haze, like the lawn's trying to come out of dormancy, and your lawn needs phosphorus, then yeah, triple 13 is probably going to be okay. I would recommend getting a soil test done. Like go to golfcourselawn.store, go there and you know you can pick up a soil test there, and so you can know for sure what your soil needs. But assuming that your lawn needs the phosphorus, a triple 13 is fine. And I would wait until the grass is beginning to grow. So in my case, once I started seeing like the Arden 15, the TifTuf was beginning to wake up a little bit, like I was starting to see some green on the lawn, and it was pretty much like, you know, looking at me saying, "Hey man, a little bit of help, bro. Just give us a little bit of help." That's when I went out and broke out the Turfplex and the Release Zero and gave it something to help it get going, kind of kickstart the process. So I would wait till you start seeing a little bit of green, and then you can put down your fertilizer of choice. All right, let's see what question we have here. So Lawn Father, he says, a silly real more question, no such thing. He says, what's the highest you can cut with them? Like, is it at all possible to cut fescue with one? Not a silly question, but for fescue, real mowers probably aren't the best choice, Lawn Father. Like fescue wants to be cut like north of 3 inches in most of the times, most cases that I'm seeing. Like you want to cut like fescue taller. It likes that. And most real mowers don't get much over 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Some of the push ones will go up a little bit higher than that. Like the Scots will go up higher than some of the powered reel mowers, but it's not the ideal tool for cutting tall fescue. Check out the manual push ones and see if those will go higher. But for fescue, I would just get like a good Toro, a good Honda, put a sharp blade on it, and use that because that is the right tool for the job. Like for a fescue lawn, a reel mower is not the right answer, you know. And you can get an amazing looking fescue lawn using a proper rotary. Let's see here. What other questions do we have? Some thoughts here about Peachtree mowers as far as places to be able to pick one up. And let's see. Okay, so this is an interesting question here. So Dimitri says, "Hey Ron, what are your thoughts and differences from a Swardman versus a Greensmower?" Totally different types of tools. So if I were gonna, I cut with a Swardman when I was out at Reel Rollers last year when I shot that video, and I was very impressed with how it cut. So if I had to rate them, like my true cut with a solid roller, I would put like here. I would put the Swardman above it. The Swardman did a really nice job cutting and striping, largely because the Swardman has that rear drum, right? So the only bad thing I'd say, and it's not really a bad thing, but the negative of the True Cut is you have those two wide tires, or those two drive tires in the back. So the weight is concentrated on those. So whenever you mow, you're gonna see those lines. It doesn't look as nice. The Swardman doesn't have that because it has that rear drum, so it does a really good job. But it is not as good as a Greensmaster, as a proper Greensmower. Just isn't. And as far as reason why, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, if you look at the one thing I'll say about like the Greensmaster compared to some like less expensive reel mowers is that the best way to describe it is like the wheelbase, like the distance between the front roller and the front roller to that rear drum, it's relatively short. So even though the mower looks big, it's actually fairly compact. So as far as its ability to kind of ride over surfaces and not scalp and just produce a really, really good cut, it's just like there's nothing like it, man. I mean, it's like, again, when I got my Greensmaster last year, I thought, okay, I got the True Cut, everything's really good. The True Cut does an awesome job. I made 2 passes of that mower and I literally shut it off and I started laughing looking at the stripes that it was laying down. So it really is an entirely other level. But to be fair, it should be, because a Swardman brand new is like, what are they, like 3,000 thereabouts, 3,000, maybe a little bit more than $3,000 brand new. A Greensmaster brand new is well over $10,000. You can spend $10,000, $12,000 on one, and if you get the flex models, maybe even a little bit more. So you're really comparing, you're comparing a Porsche and a Honda Civic. They both can do a good job. They're both going to produce a good result. They can both get you from A to Z. But the Greensmaster is just a different class of machine. It's just not. It's not really fair to compare them because they're just not even in the same. They're not even the same league as far as what they're designed to do, like how they maintain their settings. Just everything about them is they're just completely different. All right. What other questions do we have? You said, what about TifTuf? I don't have. So TifTuf is what Real Rollers has. So if you saw the video that I did on doing granular and liquid pre-emergent at the same time, TifTuf is what they are. Is what they have in Real Rollers Turf Park. So if you want to check it out and you live in the Georgia area, go by, see Lee and Andrew and Eric and the rest of the guys there, and I'm sure they'd be happy to show you that and probably let you play with one of the mowers on the turf park. So yeah, they're a really good set of guys. You talk about people that love mowing. Those guys are serious about their lawnmowers. And yeah, they're really, really good to hang out with. So go check them out if you want to go see some TifTuf. Let's see. Lincoln says, "Do I know anything about Monaco seeds better than Arden 15?" I don't know anything about Monaco as far as compared to Arden. I'm sure it's fine. It's another type of Bermuda. I've not done a ton of research into Monaco because the reason why I went with Arden 15, kind of a short story here, is before Arden 15, there was Princess 77. And the reason why I went with Princess 77, literally when I was doing research, I was looking for which Bermuda grass seed looks good with TifWay 419. So which of all the Bermuda grass seeds out there, which one blends in good and integrates well with TifWay 419. And at the time it was Princess 77. All the scientists have improved their craft, and now Arden 15 is the master grass in that space. So that's why I use it. So that's why I don't know a ton about the other ones. I know about Celebration because I was envious when first time I saw Celebration because of how pretty it is. But yeah, as far as Monaco, is it better or worse? Some of the different seeds from Bermuda are designed to do better in certain climates and certain bands. So that's something you might want to consider. Lincoln Project. I'm not sure where you are. But you're probably going to do fine with Monaco if that's the one you decide to go with. I've just not really used it, or I've never seen it in person to be able to tell you what it would look like. Okay, what other questions do we have here? Let's look at where our winding down. So Gabriel's saying he missed me at Site 1. Yeah, man, you got to be there. You got to be there sooner. All right, let's see. Yeah, so it's a good question here from Bermuda Brian. He says, "Hey, Ron, are you going to proactively do fungus apps? I've thought about putting out a bag of Fungus X from Scott's. My neighbor's lawn passed a nasty fungus over to mine last spring." Yeah, man. Yeah, so come probably late April, early May is when I'll do my fungicide. I haven't decided yet if this year it's going to be Caravan G again, or if I'm going to spring for doing Acceleprin and Headway G. So Caravan G is definitely the more economical way to go about it. Because it's a combination. You get the insecticide and the fungicide all in one, and that's probably honestly the smarter way to go. But it'd be interesting to throw down the Headway G and Acceleprin and just see how that does. But yeah, I am going to put it down proactively. I've done that for the past 4 years. I put it down in the late spring, early summer, and I've not had issues with fungus ever since I started doing that. So yeah, that is going to happen. I've not used any of the Scott's products, so I can't comment on them. But yeah, hopefully that helps. And when I do it, once I know exactly what I'm going to be applying, I'll definitely let you guys know. There's definitely going to be content filmed on it, and we'll talk about it in the live stream, so you guys can know what I am putting down on the lawn. All right, guys. Yeah. So Travis makes a good point, guys. Let's if we're at 79, we got 99 people in the live stream right now. We had more. If you've not yet hit that like button, help me out, man. I mean, it's free to you guys. It's free to do. Just tap the like button ever so gently if you wouldn't mind. Sends good vibes to the YouTube algorithm and lets them know that we are having a good time. I really appreciate the support and help. Let's see what other questions we have here. You guys are low on questions tonight, man. We might have a quicker end to the live stream. So let's look at Dimitri is saying, "Hey, I have a love-hate relationship with my 1980 25-inch trimmer. Got the Electra 2.1 coming the end of March." Oh, cool! Did you get an Electra? Nice. I know for a while they were not shipping those, but if you actually got one, that's cool. When you get yours, Dimitri, definitely whenever I'm in the live stream, definitely let me know or email me here. To my email up here if you need to. Let me know when you get it, man. I want to hear how that works out because a lot of people ask about the Electra. So once you get yours, definitely let me know how it does for you, man. I'm interested in hearing that out. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And then Super TA saying he's just sitting back and relaxing. He says, "Hey Ron, warming up in Jersey. Can't see the lawn now. Sitting back and enjoying the snow or enjoying the show." Yeah, man. I guess you guys are probably gonna have snow for another month, right? I don't know what when snow starts to melt in Jersey, but I I imagine that, yeah, you're definitely not greening up like we are in Georgia at this point. All right. Let's see here. John Hoover says, thoughts on Yard Mastery soil test. Yeah, I mean, I think they use the same technology that my soil uses, and yeah, I think they're good. I mean, here's the thing: I really like. I know a lot of people try and throw shade at the my soil tests, but I mean, I really like them. I found them to work really well for my lawn. They give me the data that allows you to make really good decisions. And I think the Yard Mastery ones use a similar technology as what my soil is using. So yeah, I think they're great, John. I would not have any problem with recommending those to anyone that's looking to get a spring soil test done. All right, so question from JR Barden. Question about moss and algae. He says, hey Ron, I have moss algae on my soil in my Bermuda backyard. Any suggestions to get rid of it? Okay, so a couple of things we can look at for that. One, moss, like really, a couple of things. It likes shaded areas and it likes low pH soil. So if your soil is a little bit more acidic, that could create conditions where moss is more likely to thrive. So JR, without getting into more details, without knowing for sure, if you don't mind, I guess drop in the chat, let me know like what you're dealing with as far as, does that area where you have the moss, are there drainage issues where water goes there and it just settles? And if you've not gotten a soil test done, let's get that done and see what's going on with that area. If all those things check out, so your soil, your pH is where it needs to be, it's getting plenty of sun. In that case, I'm not sure why you really have a moss issue, but if that's the case, you can use like that product from Scott's, like Moss EX. I don't have it up here, but if you just go to Amazon and look for it, it's a green. It's good. The bag's it's gonna be a white bag with like green on it. Like the Moss EX is gonna be written in green. And I don't think you can get that at any of the big box stores, or I've not seen it there, but you can definitely get it on Amazon. And that would be a good option. What I'd recommend for going about getting rid of it. But again, make sure that you don't have conditions in your lawn that are making it amenable for moss and algae to become a thing. So make sure you got good drainage, your pH is where you need to be, and then after that you can hit it with some Moss X. Let's see what else we have here. Tom, I think you said, Ron you said no pre-emergent in your lawn this spring. Is it an experiment or you don't expect any weeds? Why no pre-emergent? Yeah, Daniel, I'm not sure when you joined the live stream, but the reason why is because pre-emergent will hurt the ability of my Bermuda grassy. Like, got my bag of Arden 15 here. Like, this is my small one. It's going to hurt the germination of that. Like, you have to make a trade-off. If I'm going to seed the lawn in mid-May, I have to decide: do I care about having a few weeds in my lawn potentially, or do I care about getting really good germination with the seed? And for me, getting the Arden 15 to grow in nicely is more important than potential weed pressure this spring. So that's why I'm not putting down any pre-emergent. And we'll see. And again, you guys are going to see the lawn as far as weeds go. I've put pre-emergent on my lawn both spring and fall for the past 4 or 5 years. So it's been a thing on the lawn. I've not really had issues with weeds. So we'll see what happens this spring with it not getting any pre-emergent. What the results are going to be. Hopefully I don't end up with a ton of weeds, but if I do, you guys will see it. Let's see. Brian G says, Ron, when are you going to step up to the big leagues and go alpha grass? I already have the alpha grass, Brian. It's called Bermuda. You know this, man. You know this. It's going to be a thing for sure. I already got the alpha grass. That would be Bermuda. Let's see what other questions we have here. Hopefully that helps answer your question. I got a bunch of other questions here. I'm kind of scrolling past where people are asking about no pre-emergent. Why? I mean, again, you guys saw I put pre-emergent down on Alex's lawn because he is not overseeding. He's not seeding his lawn this spring, so pre-emergent makes sense for him. But for me, and because Bermuda grass seed is expensive, and I don't want to waste a bunch of money, I want to make sure that I do everything I can to give myself the best possible result. Let's see what other questions we have here. So Comfort Lawn Care says, are you all liquid fert this year? No, Comfort Lawn Care. I'm not a liquid fert this year. I'm going to be using a combination of granular fert and supplementing with liquid. So what I'm going to be doing, and again, you guys, in probably maybe by next weekend, but at the latest the week following that, you guys will see which fertilizer I'm going to be using. I'll be talking about that. And what I will be supplementing that with is the Turfplex. So what I'm going to be using the granular for, put that back up there, is to get around half to 0.6 pounds of nitrogen per month. So it's going to be the bulk of the nitrogen is going to come from the granular, and then I'm going to be spoon feeding the lawn with the Turfplex every couple of weeks. So every couple of weeks I'll put down Turfplex and the carbon package, like the stuff I like from Miramichi Green, and that's going to fill in and get me to closer to that 0.8 to a pound of nitrogen per month. That's my plan. So it's not only going to be granular, it's not only going to be liquid. Kind of like what I did last year. I was doing the same thing last year with the Brant Supreme Gain. I was using a granular, and then I was using the Brant 2s to supplement it. This year it's just going to be a different liquid fertilizer. So it's not all liquid. It's going to be granular and liquid. So most of the nitrogen coming from the granular, and supplementing the liquid and micronutrients. Supplementing the nitrogen and micronutrients with a liquid fertilizer. So hopefully that helps answer your question. Let's see what other questions we have here. Benjamin Cowley Benjamin Cowley, aren't you the guy that, I think you have a YouTube channel. I think maybe I'm missing a second for someone else, but says, hey Ron, welcome, hi from sunny Australia. Well, love the content. Thank you so much, man. Welcome from down under. So in Australia, I have no idea what time it is there, but it's nighttime here, so it's probably morning time, I guess, in Australia. But yeah, man, awesome. I really appreciate you chiming in to watch the content, man. It's cool to know that people. So we got Norway, we got Australia. All we need is someone from like Tokyo or somewhere from that space, right? I guess Australia kind of counts. This is the other side of the world, but it'd be interesting to see if we had anyone from Asia chiming in. Is there anyone from the Asia contingent representing for the lawn care geeks? All right, what other questions do you guys have here? So Leo Garcia says, how much is for the soil test? So the soil test is $29.99. Let me show you, Leo. I can do that. Let's go back to here to the Golf Course Lawn Store, and I'll bring this up. Cool. So the soil test, let me scroll out here. I got it zoomed in. So you got a couple different options for the soil test. So you have just the base soil test, which is right here. I'm clicking at, that's $29.99. And what that gets you is the soil test and the results going in. Then you get access to the portal where you can view your results. And then you have a couple of other options, which is this one here, the starter pack. I really like this one because it comes with this guy, which is super handy for getting your soil test results, the soil sample tool. So if you're just starting out, this is a great option. If you're gonna do multiple soil tests through the year, so if you're gonna do one, say in the spring and then another one in the fall, then you can get this pro pack that contains the sample tool and then 2 soil test kits. So you can get all that stuff at the Golf Course Lawn store. So go to golfcourselawn.store right here. Get my email address out of the way, shameless plug right there. And they are online and shipping today. So it just depends if you want to get this or not. I would recommend it, mainly because I really like well-designed stuff, and this is really a really nice piece of equipment. You only have to buy this once too. So you buy this and you're good for life. From that point, you only have to buy soil test kits. Let's see here. See what other points we have in here. Also, so Kai says, hey man, Ron finally made it in the chat. It's your Trinidadian brother. Hey man, a Trini. Yeah, what's going on? He says, my advice on I already asked this question, but yeah, good to see another Islander man in the chat. My mom's from Trinidad, so it's always good to hear about island people that are into their lawns, man. So which is awesome. Let's see what other points we have here. Okay, so Theo H says, real mowing question. Thinking about jumping in. Can you mow a 21-inch strip between a sidewalk and a road with a 22 or 25-inch reel mower? Probably not. Theo. Okay, so yes and no. Let's dissect this a little bit. If the area that you're trying to mow is raised, if it's raised, so like how can I describe it? So if this is the sidewalk, if this is the grass, and the sidewalk is low here and the other side is low here, so we're like, your mower is kind of above that, and you have like a Swardman or a drum style rotor, like a drum style mower, like a Greensmaster, where like it's the previous propulsion system is in the center of the mower. You might be able to get away with it, but I mean, it's a whole lot of things have to be right. Like the grass needs to be higher than any of the hardscapes around it, and you need to have a mower that is propelled from the center. Kind of so like a Swardman probably would work. Greensmaster, maybe. True Cut, definitely not. like a 25 inch or 27 inch true cut, because the wheels are so far out that you are going to scalp and absolutely you're going to crush that grass in the worst way if you try and use like a true cut on that. So, but one that's has a center drum, maybe could work. If you don't mind, if you want to send me pictures of it, send me a picture here, Theo, here, and I can take a look at it and I can tell you what I think. But it's a lot of things have to align for what you're describing to work. My initial results would probably say don't do it, but if under certain circumstances it can be made to work. All right. Curtis says, I'm late. Did you already talk about scalping? I mentioned it lightly, Curtis, but yeah, I remember you were the one that said I would talk about this in the live stream. Yeah, so as far as scalping, I said that if the weather holds out, so it rained a bunch today, so I'm probably not going to do it tomorrow. But if I decide to go ahead with my scalping this weekend, it'll probably be Sunday. And here's the thing, I'm probably not going to have to take off very much because when I mowed with the Greensmaster, which is already set to 1/2 inch, not very much was coming off the grass already. So the true cut, even though I had it set at 1/2 inch, maybe it went a little bit lower than 1/2 inch. So my pre-scalp is looking like it was like probably went a little bit heavy, a little heavy-handed there. But if I do that, Curtis, it'll be on Sunday. When I get that done, and then we'll be good to go. I'll take the true cut in, get it all cleaned up and good to go, and we will be set to go for the rest of the season. So yeah. Let's see what else we have here. LG, yeah, no problem, man. It's been handled, and let's see what other points we have. What other questions? My Bermuda is 3 inches last year, so it's a good question about Curtis about Bermuda. He says my Bermuda's at 3 inches last year, and I scalped down to 1 inch in one pass. Wow, you're a brave man. That's a lot of work. Should I be concerned about taking off too much at once? And when is the best time? Pre-green up or post? Okay. So going from 3 inches to 1 inch is a lot. That's a lot to do all at one time, Curtis. I assume that you're going to be real mowing it now that you're at 1 inch. If you did it when it's dormant, it's less bad. I wouldn't have done that when the lawn is actively growing, because that's a lot of stress. I mean, Bermuda's going to be fine. Like, it's going to recover from it, but like taking off that much is a major violation of the 1/3 rule. But if you're doing it now, if you are, you did it last year, but as far as to bring it, what the time to do it, I would wait until you're starting to see the lawn greening up. Really, to be completely honest, the best time to scalp is when the lawn is actively growing. So whenever you're at 60, 70% where there's a lot of green in the lawn, if that is the best time to scalp it, because it's going to come back sooner. Like when I'm doing mine, it's probably a little bit early, but if you notice, my lawn is already starting to green up. It's greening up earlier. So that's why I'm going ahead with that. So I would wait until you start seeing at least some green in the lawn before you scalp. And then you should be good to go. I wouldn't scalp in the dead of winter, at least not a huge one. But once you start seeing a little bit of green in the lawn, that's when I would go forward with it. So hopefully that helps answer your question. And make sure that when you scalp, Kurt, if you're going down, because your question is kind of confusing. You said you're at 3 inches, you're scalping down. So I don't know if you're already at 1 inch or if your goals go down to 1 inch. At any rate, when you scalp, that's one of the times you're going to hear me say to make sure you take whatever that material and take it out. So don't scalp the lawn and leave all that material on the grass. So you cut it, get rid of it. So that's why scalping is such a pain in the neck, because literally you'll make, in my case with my lawn, because of how long it is, I'll make like 3 passes, and then it's like, okay, the catcher's got to come off, dump it out, back. So it literally takes hours to do. It's a huge pain. So that's the only negative about doing it all at once when you go. But yeah, Curtis, I would wait until your temps are, or until your grass is greening up, and then go for it. And Cheryl's in the house. Hey Cheryl, what's going on? Cheryl's a vet. Cheryl's been in the live stream when it was really bad. When like my lighting was terrible and everything was not good, and it was so she's been around. She's stuck around the entire time. So I really appreciate the support, Cheryl. Thanks for taking some time out to hang out in the live stream tonight. Let's see. And if you guys, while I'm looking for the next question, if you guys have not yet hit the like button, I really would appreciate it. It helps support the channel. It's free to you guys, and it sends good news to the YouTube algorithm. So LW50 has a question here. Ooh, it's gonna be a tough one, man. It says, "Hey Ron, I have Zoysia invading my Bermuda. What strategy would you use to combat that?" That's a tough one, man, because there's not really, at least to my knowledge, there's not really a herbicide that you can put down that's going to hurt the Zoysia, that's not also going to hurt the Bermuda. Your best bet is if you can put some kind of a barrier in, like some kind of a barrier to literally prevent the two from touching. That might help. And when by a barrier, not just on top, like put something that maybe goes down. You know, if you can get something like a plate or something that goes 6-8 inches down, so you're really dividing them. So there's not, you know, so that it's really hard for the two grasses to kind of to connect, the two lawns to connect. That is probably going to be your best bet, because there's not really a way that I know of to kill Zoysia without killing Bermuda. So like a physical barrier is probably going to be your best result. Let's see questions. So Kai already answered your question about the putting green question. Let's see what other points we have here. Let's look here. I'm looking for the next question. So Curtis is saying, if it's still cold, you take it down, and it's still cold, and the soil gets exposed, it may take longer to green up, but it's consistently warmer. That's best. That's an interesting approach, Leo. I mean, once you scalp and you thin out the canopy, the turf is going to like you are going to be introducing more sun to the soil. So it's going to that does help with green up. So that's definitely a thing. Let's see what other questions we have here. Oh, it's a great question here from the yard about Prodiamine. He says, hey, Ron, so if you go full rate on Prodiamine in the spring, what pre-emergent are you putting down in the fall since you maxed out on Prodiamine for the year? Great question. So what I would switch to is like a dithiopyr, or also like brand name Dimension. That's another type of pre-emergent that you can use in the fall. So yes, you can still use pre-emergent. You just shouldn't use Prodiamine in the fall. So dithiopyr would be a good option. Also, if you look for the brand name, it'll be labeled as Dimension. That's another pre-emergent that you can use in the fall time whenever it gets to the point where you are ready to put down another pre-emergent. All right, what other questions we have here? Brian is chiming about feature. He loves that for getting a nice dark green lawn. Jeremy White, Mr. Career and Information Security, and Mai Tai training. I like it, man. That's like those Mai Tai guys are pretty hardcore. So that's thanks so much for letting me know, man. Hopefully your career or your InfoSec career is kind of starting to go in the right direction, and the little bit of guidance I gave you helps out. And Mai Tai, you're a tough man. Those are pretty. That's a tough sport. That's much harder than tongue pseudo for sure. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. So Leo from Naples Lawn says, hey, Ron, thanks for sharing your knowledge. It's really greatly appreciated. Thank you for taking the time to hang out in the live stream, sir. I appreciate it. It's always fun, especially now, man. Like you guys are, it's springtime, and the live stream has really grown into a lot more than I thought it would. I mean, it was something fun to do during the fall months because there's not a whole lot of content to film, and I still wanted to interact with you guys and see what kind of challenges you guys have in your lawns, going into the winter. And it just turned into something that you guys seem to really enjoy, which is why I keep doing it. So I really appreciate the support. Matt G has a question about soil testing. It says, when should I do my soil test? My Bermuda is still dormant. Do it now, Matt. It's now is fine. There's not, as long as you can get a good sample, now is a great time to do a soil test. You can decide to apply the amendments a little bit later if you want. But as far as actually doing the soil test, you can get that done right now. And if you need one, you can go here at golfcourselawn.store. And great. And if you need any help with interpreting the results once you get your soil test done, drop me an email here, ron@golfcourselawn.com. I'll be happy to take a look at it. I mean, the way my soil lays things out is actually pretty simple to figure out to do it on your own. But if you have some questions or you want like an extra set of eyes on it, feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to my soil. They'll also help you out too. But yeah, now is a great time, and let me know if I can help with anything else. Great question here. It's a good one. So William Van Kessel says, hey, Ron, I'm putting down a pallet of Bahia sod tomorrow. Should I put down anything before or after to help it grow? Yes. Okay. So the answer is going to be Carbon Pro G, and I'll tell you why. So Carbon Pro G, one thing at Site 1, about that product. They sell a lot of it to landscapers that are doing when they're putting in like trees, or they're putting in like a new tree, or if they're seeding or not seeding, if they're sodding like more higher end lawns where people are willing to pay the extra cost for it. They put that down because that will help with rooting. I mean, it's a lot of you talk to the guys, at least my local site one. He told me that the way a lot of the landscapers use Carbon Pro G, some people use it the way we're using it. It definitely works that way. It will work absolutely fine that way. But as far as sod, if you've already got like dirt, like I guess you've already like done like your cutting and you've gotten rid of the like it is existing grass. Put down a nice, layer of Carbon Pro G, and then put your sod on top of that. That's actually a great idea. Now, you said you're putting it down tomorrow. I don't know what time you're putting it down, so I don't know if you have time to run out. If there's a site one near you to go out and grab some. But yeah, that would be my recommendation. If you can swing it, I would do it because they open up pretty early, and that is worth doing, and it should cost you. And I don't know what they cost down there, but it's reasonably priced. You can under $35 a bag. You should be able to pick it up for sure. Let's see what other questions we have here. Comfort Lawn Care has a question about the height of cut on the Greensmaster. So it depends. Comfort Lawn Care on mine. The way I remember is this 125. So mine will go from 0.12, so 0.25 height of cut, so 125 thousandths, so very low, like greens heights, all the way up to 1.25 inches. So for the Greensmaster, the fixed head one, the Greensmaster 1600, and I believe the 1000, that's about your range. So 0.125 up to 1.25 inches. If you get the flex, that's a little bit tighter. The flex doesn't go up quite as high. So it depends on which model you go with, but as high as 1.25 inches. So hope that helps. And I believe that's the highest that they will go as far as height of cuts. Like the fixed head ones are that's where you can get the highest height of cut. So hopefully that helps Comfort Lawn Care in your decision. Let's see here. What other questions do we have? Alfred says, is it possible to seed zoysia on a Bermuda lawn in the areas where it's shaded, and can it be mown at the same height? As far as mowing heights, yes, both grasses can tolerate being mowed at the same height. As far as seeding it, you can seed it, man, but if you're going to put zoysia down and you're just trying to get it to be nice in an area, a small area, I might just do sod. I mean, that's honestly going to be less work. It's going to get in faster. You're probably going to get a better result. To just do sod, Alfred. That would probably be my recommendation. But once you do have it in, yes, you can cut both of them at the same height. So if you say you're going for a height of cut, assuming you're real mowing of like an inch, 3/4 of an inch, both Bermuda and zoysia will do just fine at those heights of cut. So yeah. But just realize if you put them down together, like they're not going to stay apart. Like you're going to end up with a mutt lawn. You're going to end up with a lawn that's like part zoysia, part Bermuda. Then it's not like the Bermuda is going to stay where it is. And the zoysia is not going to say where it is. The two are going to end up integrating because they're both creeping grasses, especially Bermuda. All right, other questions. So we have a question from David. David Lee. He says, "Hi Ron, when should I scalp my Bermuda lawn? I'm in southern Georgia." So we kind of covered this already, David. But whenever you're starting to get some green on the lawn, when you're starting to get that green fuzz, you're starting to see a bit of green in the lawn. That's the time when I would do it. If you're trying to make a drastic change, you can do a pre-scalp. So let's say this year is your year. You're going for real mowing. You're going all in, and your Bermuda is at like 2 inches or 2.5 inches, and you're trying to maintain a height of cut once you start in the season of say an inch. Like I might take that 2.5 inch Bermuda lawn, like even now, down to like say 1.5 inches. I might take that much material off of it now, and then once the lawn begins greening up, then I take off the rest of it in your main scalp when you're starting to see some green. Because to take off like a bunch of grass all at once, depending on the size of your lawn, it's a colossal pain. It's a lot of work. And it's not going to really hurt anything to take off just to use BYD's terms, just take off just a taste. Take out just a taste off the lawn, now to kind of break up the work that you're going to have to do into multiple sessions. So depends on the answer is it depends on what you're going for. But the best answer is whenever it's greening up, that's the time to scalp. All right. Brooklyn Boy says, I live in Dallas, Texas. Can I apply a pre-emergent and post-emergent at the same time? Yeah, depending on which ones you want to do, Brooklyn Boy. So if you saw my video on applying image and prodiamine, those two you can apply at the same time. Because the thing is, you ideally want to use a post-emergent that is designed to work from the roots, designed to work in the soil. Because like pre-emergent is designed that when you put it down, it's designed to be watered in. Image is also designed, it's a post-emergent, but it's also designed to be watered in. It works from being watered in. So if you were to combine, say Prodiamine with something like Negate, right? That is designed to stick to the leaf and really also requires a surfactant to work well. You're kind of working against yourself. So as long as you're using two products that are compatible, meaning that they're designed to both, they have a similar mode of action, they're designed to both go down, they're supposed to both work from the roots, then yeah, I mean, there's no issue with that. But I wouldn't mix something that is designed to stick to the leaf with pre-emergent, because you're kind of, again, you're just kind of working against yourself. I mean, I'm sure there's people that do it, but it just doesn't make sense to me that would be a good idea. Pacific Northwest Lawn, what's going on, man? Better late than never, man. I appreciate you coming to hang out. Thanks so much for coming to support the live stream. John says, "Hey, Ron, I want to thank you on the air for calling me personally in my lawn situation with POA." You're very welcome, man. You're very welcome. So yeah, so John called or had like a slight emergency, and I was able to get in contact with him and help him out with it. So I'm glad that we got to the bottom of it, John. And again, always happy to help out. I'm glad that we got a solution for you that works. Let's see. So Bennett Cruz is saying a Swardman would work great with detergent, the new fence, and rock. Love the channel, Swardman fans. Yeah, I'm sure you guys are trying to get me to get yet another real mower. We'll see, man. I'll have to see where the fence ends up being. I still have to go down and talk to Joel and see like what where the fence is actually going to be. I might be able to still get my mower down there, but where it is currently, it's looking kind of tight. Like I'll have to figure something else out. It probably will not be yet another mower, mainly because I don't have anywhere to put it, man. I just don't have anywhere else to put yet another mower. If I'm going to get another piece of equipment, it's probably going to be like a verticutter if I can get my hands on one. Like that's something I would probably invest in, but not yet another real mower. See, William Van Kessel says, I have a higher grass. It's still okay to throw down a 10-10. If your soil needs phosphorus, yes, sure. And if William, I think you say you're also doing the seeding, or sorry, the sodding. So yeah, 10-10 would be good to put down there too. That's a good idea. I mean, I didn't talk about that. I think I'm mainly referring to Carbon Pro G, but yeah, a 10-10 as like a starter for it when you're putting down your bahia, your sod. That's a good option too. If you look, you know what, if you want to see like what a good idea of bahia going down, look at Brent Grasscapades, like Brett that works with Alan. Like they just did a bahia lawn for him down in Florida, and you can see like their entire process. Just skip past the irrigation parts, but like they show you exactly what they did to apply it. So a starter for like a 10-10 is also a good idea too. Yep, that's a good idea. Let's see what other questions. Okay, Curtis, I think I answered your question on scalping in one pass. And let's see, Josh Habib, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate the support.
Super chat received.
Happy Friday to you guys, and definitely travel safe on the road, sir. I appreciate you reaching out and everything, and the happiest of birthdays to your significant other. Thanks for reaching out. I always appreciate hearing from you, man, and the support along the way. So thanks for that. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Trin Dave says, let's see. Arden 15 bag says perform the first mow at 3 inches, cutting to 2 inches, 1/3 rule. How soon can I take another third off? Another way is, what is a protocol for transitioning from rotary to reel? Okay. That's a good question, Trin Dave. So here's the thing. When I put down Arden 15, mine has never grown to 3 inches. Now, and I think part of why they say that on the bag is that if you have a rotary mower, that's really good advice, right? Because like getting to 3 inches is going to give it plenty of time to establish and grow, and then you can bring it down. With my lawn, when I did it when I overseed with Arden 15 last year, once I got to 1.25 inches is when I started cutting it again, and I started cutting it at the same height as I did everything else. So as far as how to transition down to a third, you can do it. You can step down, or you can do what's considered a height of cut reset. I would probably do a height of cut reset on like brand new grass. Like if the lawn has been established and you want to really knock it down, like what who was it who had that question? What Curtis was saying. That's probably less bad, but for if you seed, you got to go up to 3 inches, and you're trying to bring it down. Just take it down over the course of a couple of weeks. Every time you mow, take it down a little bit, so you get to the height that you want. That's a very safe way to do it, and you're not going to hurt the grass in the process. But I have not done that. Like my Arden 15 has never been at 3 inches. Like my grass hasn't been at 3 inches for 5 years, longer than that. It hasn't been 3 inches in height ever. So yeah, that's good advice if you're doing it with a rotary, but you don't necessarily have to do that if you're using a real mower. All right. Let's see. Alexander Baxter has a question about Prodiamine. I've heard Prodiamine prevents Bermuda runners from tacking down. Have you ever found that to be the case? I've had it on my lawn every year, every year since, and for the last 4 years anyway, since we've been here. And it's not been a problem for me. I've not noticed any issues with like runners kind of like being stragglers and hanging up, not being tacked down, Alexander. So it's possible. With St. Augustine, that might be more of a thing, but for Bermuda, I've not personally seen that. I can only speak from what I've seen on my lawn. I've not seen that to be the case. All right. Helmut Ruckus says, Ron, can you recommend really, really, really good topsoil? I don't like Scott's anymore because it seems to put more weed sticks in there than the good stuff. Not really, man. You know what? There's a topsoil. I'm trying to. I can see the bag, but there's a company in Georgia that makes a very rich material. And it comes in a yellow bag. Some of you guys are in the chat are probably going to know what I'm talking about. Is it 3 something? I forget the name of it, but it's a company that makes. It comes in. They deliver it in a yellow bag. It's very, very rich material. You might try that. I don't know how well you might have to deal with wood sticks. I think they do a pretty good job about screening it. I've not personally used that, but I mean that particular product, I was looking at the reviews for it, and of course I'm talking about a product I don't even know the name of it, and someone in the chat here will hopefully chime in. But it's in a yellow bag. If you look for like purified topsoil, it's like it's called 3 something. I need to look up the name. I'll make sure I put that in the show notes. Once I'm done with this live stream, Helmet, check tomorrow morning, and I will have a note in the description of this live stream telling you what the product is, and assuming that someone in the live stream doesn't answer already. But yeah, I don't really have a good answer for you on finding really, really good screen topsoil, unfortunately. Just call around for a couple of places and just tell them, hey, I'm trying to top dress my lawn. I really need stuff that's clean, like no bark, no sticks or twigs or stuff like that in it, and see what they say. I don't have a good recommendation on that one, unfortunately. Sorry, I can't help out more. Let's see. So Chris Dada says, I hate trying to figure out the right time to put down pre-emergent. Put it down a couple of days ago, and I think I'm too late. Well, putting it down the first week, I'll put it down the first week of February, no matter what. Big up Jamaica. Yeah, man. Chris, when it comes to pre-emergent, a little early is better than a little late. So the general rule is you want it down in the spring before soil temps cross 50 to 55 degrees. So if you're in Jamaica, it's definitely soil temps are definitely probably over 55 degrees, and you should have had it down already. But if you're a Jamaican, you live in the United States, you live like in Georgia, now would be the time to do it before soil temps cross 50 to 55 degrees. And the thing is, it's putting it down now. Even if you have weeds, it's not going to do anything for the existing weeds. But if there are any weeds in your soil or any seeds in your soil that have not yet germinated, because that's kind of the theory behind like the split application thing. That putting down pre-emergent will still help with those. So if the temperatures are cool where you are, and it still has to warm up quite a bit for summertime, even if you miss the perfect time to apply Prodiamine to prevent like the spring weeds, like still putting it down now is going to prevent or at least slow down the weeds that would germinate later on into the late spring and summer when temps get a little bit higher. So that's something to keep in mind. So even though you may not get the best result, you'll get some benefit from it. Chris Dada. So, and welcome, man. Another Islander. Always cool to hear from people from the Caribbean. It's not the Caribbean, it's the Caribbean. Mr. James, he says, when you do your final scalp, how low are you planning to go on, and what height of cut are you planning to maintain throughout the cutting season? Great question, James. So I'm planning to maintain a height of cut of 1/2 inch. A bench height of 1/2 inch, so the actual cut is probably going to be a little bit under 1/2 inch. And as far as my final scalp, it's going to be just below that. So figure I'm going to set the true cut. I'll as best I can with the AccuGauge. I'm going to set the true cut to probably 0.4, somewhere around there. So, lower than where I tend to maintain it. And then do my scalping, and that'll be it. And that'll be ready to send it in and get it all cleaned up. And then I'll just switch to the Greensmaster and mow with it until it gets time for top dressing time. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Half a cut is going to be the height of cut I'm going to maintain the lawn, or that's my goal anyway for the entire season. And then the scalping height is going to be like 0.40, so below where I intend to maintain it. So hope that helps. Great question. Marlon and Jalen says, I just did my pre-emergent on my fescue lawn. When can I fertilize? I live in North Carolina. So whenever your lawn's beginning to, I'm guessing you have a fescue lawn. Marlon and Jalen, I always like to base fertilization around like soil test data. If you want to put down like something that's relatively safe for most lawns, something like Milo or that's probably going to be fine. But into the month of March into early April, sometime between mid-March and early April, depending on what temperatures are like, that's probably going to be a safe time to begin your fertilization program. And to know what you need to apply, get a soil test done so you know that whatever you're applying makes a lot of sense for your lawn. So mid-March into April is probably when you're going to want to get started because you're a little bit further north than I am. But good question. John Gotch says, how many backpack sprayers do you own? Reason is you talk about all these products you use. Do you just rinse out and have a sprayer for each product? I own currently 2 backpack sprayers, John. I have a Chapin and I have the Flow Zone. So I'm going to see if I can get getting my hands on one of the Petras if I can to test out. And because a lot of you guys seem to ask questions about it. I get a lot of emails about my thoughts on it. So if I can get my hands on one, I'll do a review of it and do a comparison, put together some calibration data that'll be helpful for you guys as well. So that's the only sprayer I might see if I can get my hands on. But I have 2, a Flow Zone and a Chapin. The Chapin is what I started with, and the Flow Zone is what I've been using a whole lot of now. And I just rinse them out after I use them. Just make sure you wash them out really, 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 really good after use, and then you're good to go. Let's see what other questions we have here. We're winding down. So Todd Warzonic says, hey, Ron, I'm from Buffalo, New York. So excited to get the season going. I got my Swardman in over the winter, and I'm itching to go. I bet you are. He says, my question is, can I just top dress with sand if I have clay soil? I have clay soil. So yes, you can. Top dressing with like a sand soil mix is a good plan, Todd. That should work out just fine. If you want to know, because you're in Buffalo, New York, what I would do is, ask the golf courses in your area, call them, because a lot of them are pretty friendly if you want to call and ask them about like, you just necessarily ask them about details of what they're doing exactly. But as far as like what kind of mix they've used, you can ask them and talk to them, and they will, a lot of them are more than happy to share information about what they would recommend for your particular soil type in your area. I know like in Georgia, we have clay soil, and the sand soil mix that we use here works really well, but asking someone in your area that does a lot of that, like someone like a golf course superintendent, would be a great resource you could reach out to get like what their recommendations would be around the best mix for your particular soil type. But if it's clay like what we have in Georgia, sand is going to work just fine. And I appreciate you watching the show. I appreciate the support, man. Thanks so much for watching. And you said in the last 3 years you've done it just with compost, which is good. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But if your goal is to level, compost isn't the best option because you're just going to end up doing the same thing over and over and over again. So, all right. SMK says, "What up, Ron? What's going on, man?" He says, "I'm late to this content to the show, but great content as usual. I appreciate it, sir. It means a lot coming from you." And he says, "I have an idea what I think will be the next level: burn the front yard and hollow tine the ash into the soil, and then top dress. Really curious about the results." I can't imagine how much trouble I would get in with the house association if I were to set fire to my lawn. It's a thing. It actually is a thing in Georgia. Like some people still do that. Like they still burn their lawns, but I'm almost positive that I am not allowed to do that. In my subdivision, I'm pretty sure that that's going to get the wrong kind of attention. It'd be cool. It'd be a cool way to get to generate a bunch of free carbon, right? And for the lawn, but I can't set fire to my lawn. Plus, think about it. Like all of our lawns are connected, so like really doing that is going to burn my lawn. And there's probably going to be some encroachment into Alex's lawn, and then we won't be friends anymore, and it'll be bad, and just that wouldn't be good. So all jokes aside, there's just no way that I can set fire to my lawn. I just know that would just get the wrong kind of attention. But if one of you guys do it, definitely let me know. And if you do it, film it and let me know. If you film it and you don't have a YouTube channel or you want to like talk about it or show it off, let me know. Send me the video and I will show it in the live stream. If you do that and you're allowed to do it. I'm not saying to go out and do this. If you're allowed to do it in your area, I have to put all the disclaimers in here. If you're allowed to do it in your area, like you live out in the country somewhere, or your house association has no rules against burning your lawn, film it and then send me the video, and we'll show it off to everybody what it looks like. So cool. Great suggestion, SMK. And let's see what other questions are. LG, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm not sure if I got this one already, but if not, I will do it again, only because Carbon Bro LG is deserving of it. Let's see here, but but definitely get out and support the other live streams. I saw George in here tonight. I'm not sure if George is doing one tomorrow night. I haven't looked and seen, but if you want another great live stream to support, like Princess Cut Lawn Care does one on Saturday nights at it's 8 p.m. my time, 7 p.m. his time, and it's like he does like the lawn freshman class where they talked about people that are up and coming in lawn care in YouTube and what they're doing with their lawns. So if you want to just learn about what other YouTubers are doing and what their plans are for their lawns, great show. Go out there and support George. He always puts out a lot of great content, puts a lot of work into his show. So give him some love over there. Splash, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. And dude, if your soil or your grass is greening up, get out and do something in the lawn, man. Definitely do that. Now's a great weekend to do it if you're in Georgia. Let's see. So a question here from Hilton Head Island. Hilton Head, he says, outside of Hilton Head Island, just scalped. Would you throw down some fert now and just wait? It's not going to hurt anything, Baseball Bros, because Hilton Head, you're on the coast, so I imagine your temps are probably like similar to what we have, or maybe even a little bit higher. So yeah. I mean, adding a fertilizer now is not going to hurt, but just give it another week or so. If it depends, if you already have a fertilizer that you like, that you want to use, that you've already selected, by all means go ahead and do it. I'm not going to be applying a granular to my lawn until probably next weekend at best, and when I do, you guys will know about it. I promise you that. I will let you guys know what I'm going to be applying, and I'll show you guys that, and it'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, if you already have a fert that you've got in your garage, and you're just itching to throw something down, you're same climate as me, actually probably a little bit warmer, so you're good to go. I would go ahead and do that and just wait. And let's see what other questions here. We are winding down. I'm talking you guys out. Let's see. So that's a good point. So whoever is in the live stream, or if you tune in later, Todd is saying that the Fiskars will cut up to 4 inches. So if you have a fescue lawn and you want to use a reel mower on it, looks like the Fiskars will cut up to 4 inches. Here's the thing though. I don't know how well it cuts at 4 inches, because as that's pretty tall, and I don't know how well like the how can I say it? Like with reel mowers work really well when you're cutting grass that is not terribly much taller than the height of cut you're after. In other words, like you get some of these like I call them like spring onions. These spring onions in the lawn are like really, really long grasses that will stick up. Like when I run over those with my reel mower, my mower will literally just run right over them and it won't even cut them. So if it's too tall, like even a reel mower can have trouble with grass that's too tall. So even though the Fiskars will go up to 4 inches, I might look around and see if there's any content of anyone actually cutting grass at 4 inches with it and getting a good result, because I might think that it might just be laying the grass over at those really, really high heights. It might work fine, but just something to consider that at higher heights, reel mowers don't always work very well, because the grass just tends to just fall over instead of standing up and being presented nicely to the bed knife. Cedric, mad scientist, he says, just checking in, but always trying to support the channel. I appreciate it, sir. This question for you: what is spoon feeding? Not sure if someone asked earlier. Good question. So there's a couple of different ways to feed your lawn, to give it the nitrogen and combination of nutrients that it needs to do well. So you can go with like a slow release nitrogen, like a higher nitrogen percentage, like say like a 24%, 25% nitrogen that releases slow over time, and you apply that every 6 to 8 weeks, and it's going to slowly feed the lawn. Or you can do what I like, and in other words, you're getting all your nitrogen primarily from granular. Or you can do what I do, which is which kind of getting to what spoon feeding is you apply the granular at a rate that only gives you part of your nitrogen needs, right? And then instead of relying on granular to supply all the nitrogen for your Bermuda grass every couple of weeks, depending on what you want to do it. Like some golf courses might spray some areas, like some of the higher end ones will spray weekly, like during the season. But on my lawn, I'm going to be doing it every 2 weeks. So let's say in my case where I'm getting half of my nitrogen from granular, 0.5, 0.6 pounds of nitrogen per month, right? I then every 2 weeks will use a liquid product, a liquid fertilizer like this, which is a faster release fertilizer to supplement that. And the reason why you do it is that if you think about it, if you apply a slow release fertilizer to your lawn, and some of the better ones, like the ones from Lebanon Turf, actually work pretty well. But most slow releases, even though they release over time, you tend to get like a bit of a growth spike, and they fall off, and then you apply them again. So what spoon feeding allows you to get is a more consistent growth and consistent color throughout the growing season. So if by using a liquid to supplement the nitrogen that I'm getting from a granular, I'm able to keep the lawn looking nice the entire time. So when you guys looked at my lawn last year, like every time I shot a video, like the lawn always looked really good. A big part of that is because I wasn't only doing granular. I was using granular as a base, and then I was also every couple of weeks getting out there with the sprayer and spraying a liquid fert to put some quick release nitrogen in to help the lawn continue to grow and just stay nice. And plus, another thing with spoon feeding is it's a nice way, it's an easier way to get like micronutrients into the lawn. Like when you get into like the like boron, zinc, manganese, iron, like some of those micronutrients, they're harder to get a lot of times in granulars, at least in a form that is taken up quickly by the grass. Whereas if you spray those, like it works a lot faster. You're going to see a result much faster. That's why like you'll see some people say, if you want to get a really green lawn quickly, you can just put some liquid iron down. Like I think Feature is one of the ones that they mentioned. I think is a I'm not sure if that's a liquid, but a liquid iron product that's going to get you a really quick green up because it's absorbed sooner. So it's just another strategy, Cedric. Hopefully that makes sense. I mean, you don't have to spoon feed. Really, it's only something you do if you have the time to do it and the desire to do it, because really what it means is you're only getting part of your nitrogen from granular, and the rest of it you're going to be applying every couple of weeks. So it's going to mean putting a lot of time out there with a backpack sprayer, but I frankly like doing that, So if you're a person that always likes to be out in the lawn, spraying something on the lawn or applying something on the lawn, spoon feeding is a good way to do that. So hopefully that helps. I actually should make a video on that. That's a great question. I don't have any content on that. That's a good question. And then Tom does it in a explains it in a simple sentence. Spoon feeding is feeding at a lower dose but more often. There you go. So a lower rate of nitrogen more regularly. Well done, Todd. Let's see what other questions we have here. So Grace said, I did my soil testing today. I will be mailing it in the morning. Very cool, man. Let me know how your results come back, Grace. If you have any questions or need help interpreting them, shoot me an email here, ron@golfcourselawn.com. I mean, the results or the recommendations that come back from, I'm not sure who you use, but if you use my soil, like the results they give you are actually really easy to follow. So, you should be able to do that with no problem because I know you're pretty big into your lawn, but if you need any help, have any extra questions, feel free to reach out to me and I will do my best to help you out. All right. And then Samantha Jordan, we're winding down here. She says, is it too late to meet pre-emergent? No, it's not too late, Samanthea, sorry. I don't know where you are. I'm assuming you're like in my area, Georgia, Southeast United States. It's not too late, but you want to get it done. Ideally, you want to get it done before soil temps cross 50 to 55 degrees. So if you're already there, like say you're in, I don't know, maybe South Florida or something, you're in the Keys and it's hot already, you can still do it. You're just not going to get as much benefit as you would had you done it prior to soil temps crossing 50 to 55 degrees. So it's with pre-emergent, earlier is definitely better than later. Because like, again, especially with the case of prodiamine, like if you apply it late, it's not going to do anything for weeds that have already germinated. So yeah, hopefully that helps answer your question. Thank you for the kind words, Hunt to Kill. I really appreciate that. That was really nice of you. Really nice of you to say. Let's see what other questions we have. Oh, we got a super sticker here from Tim Borski. Sorry about that, Tim.
Chat received.
He says, it's Shiva the dog shaking his hips and saying thank you. I can only visualize what that must look like, Tim. But thank you for the super sticker. Let's see. Mike says, "Does anyone do a tall fescue live stream like this?" I don't know, Mike. I'm not sure if anyone else does. You know what? Check out George. I mean, George. I don't know if George does a lot of Q&A, but he has a cool season lawn. I think he's got bluegrass. George is going to get mad at me because I should know this, right? It's either rye or bluegrass. I don't think it's tall fescue. But check out his chat. Check out his content, and he might do that. There you go. So I got an answer to my question. So soil 3. That's the answer to the question about like a very, very high quality organic option. So soil 3, there you go. So if you're watching this, if you're still in the chat or in the live stream, soil 3 is the one that I was thinking to, is on the tip of my head. I know there's a 3 in it, but I couldn't remember the actual name. That is what I would try. I would give them a call and see what they say about, the cleanliness of their product. I think they do a pretty good job screening it. All right. What else do we have here? Hunt to Kill says, "How with that new battery operated Sunjoe reel mower? Not bad, $240. A great way to do reel mowing." It's probably fine, man. It's worth a shot. I mean, it's worth a shot. Check out the reviews online for it and see what kind of results people are getting with it, and then take the plunge. At $240, kind of hard to go bad. Guys, thank you guys for saving me. I appreciate it. So Bennett, all you guys are chiming in. It's soil 3. I can see you guys all yelling at the screen. It's soil 3. But yeah, so that is a great option for like rich organic material. And I've not used it, but looking at their videos, they're very proud of it. They're looking at the videos of how they make it and like how they screen it and all this kind of stuff. It looks like it's a high quality product. So if anything is not going to have a ton of trash in it, I imagine that would not. But definitely call them and ask them, and get their feedback and see what they say. All right. Running down here on questions, Wind Chariot, he says, "Hey Ron, I am overseeding this spring. I plan to aerate top dress with sand. Do I seed before sand? My concern is moving the seed around too much while spreading the sand. What's the order aerate sand seed?" So it depends on how heavy you're going. I'm doing a very light top dress this year. If you're doing a top dress where you are going to go heavy, like you're doing a lot of leveling, I would probably aerate, do whatever fertilizer you want to use, put down like some organic material, then you can sand, and then you can seed on top of that, and just work it in. Use like a leveling rig to work it in to improve that sand or that seed soil contact. And then if you want to use peat moss to if you can put that down, it makes an incredible mess. But if you can put that down and then water it, that's a good option for keeping moisture in the seed. And I'm going to be also trying out hydrotane this year as well too. To see how well that works. I've all the research I've been doing on it looks like it's going to work out really, really well. But that's something I'm going to also incorporate into my seeding projects. You might want to consider that as well. And out of the two, I think just to talk about hydrotane a little bit, there's a liquid product and there's a granular product. The liquid product, you have to be more particular about when you apply it. Like from what I understand with the liquid, you need to make sure that it works better if the turf is wet and you apply it, and then after you put it down, you water it in. Or you can opt for the granular, which you can just apply it and then water it all in when you're done. So the one I'm going with, as you can guess it, is the granular, because it's like less margin, it's more margin for error, and it's easier for me to do. So I'm going with the granular or hydrotane, but either one will work well. So that's another thing to consider. Wind Chariot. All right, so Chris Jade says he's enjoyed it from Jamaica, and JG's like, "What go on, man?" But let's see here. Chris Dada says, "Does Real Rollers have a trade-in program?" I do not know. I don't know if they have a trade-in program. Because you're thinking of selling your California trimmer to get a true cut. I don't know. They've never mentioned that to me if they have one. But call them and ask them. Call the guys there and they will tell you. I don't know if they have a trade and grow program. They've never mentioned it to me. And let's see what other questions that we have here. Hunt to Kill says, take a sip of my lemonade. Hey Ron, I just got a Greensmaster 1000, has 11 blade reel on it now. It's on its last sharpen. When I replace it, should I go 8 blade reel for 1/2 inch residential lawn? Appreciate you and love the energy. I would, if it were me, when that 11 blade wears out, I would go with an 8 blade. Because for most residential lawns, like an 8 blade reel works better for like the heights of cut that we roll at. So like 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, somewhere in that space, like an 8 blade is money. That's what you're going to want to go with. And I don't know if there's a cost difference, but I imagine that the 8 blade is probably a bit cheaper. I mean, less material, I would think logically it would be cheaper, but either way, yes, if it were me, I would go with the 8 blade once the 11 blade has given up its last cut. Once it's ready to go off into the the old reel, used up reel mowers in the sky, it's that little special place, the little used up reel graveyard. I would go to an 8-blade reel. All right, and then Dolly Lamas T, she has a good question here. She says, hello, Ron. I hope everyone is doing well here in San Antonio, Texas. My grass is frozen. I bet it is. Everything you guys have been going through lately. And I was able to go around and spray the green weeds that survived. It really made spraying easier. Okay, that's an interesting way to go about it. Thanks for sharing your results, Dalai Lama's Tea. And let's see what other questions we have here. Todd is saying, thanks so much. I really appreciate the show. I appreciate you guys watching. And I've got tons of video of tons of comments about the soil 3. I will never forget that it's soil 3 again. I'm gonna get like a soil 3 tattoo, or I'll embed it on my desktop screensaver, like soil 3 Ron. Whenever you need like their really good organic soil recommendation, that's what you recommend to people. So yeah, but I'm getting lots of that. So let's see what else we have here. Oh, gentlemen, we have a celebrity in the house. We have Alan Hain, the lawn care nut. Alan, thank you so much for taking some time out of dominating lawns and dominating the DIY lawn product space to come hang out in the live stream. I really appreciate it. Very cool, man. Thank you for the kind words for coming to come hang out. Let's see here. You say that Hilton Head is really pretty. Used to live in Button. What other questions do we have here? R. Colson says, my soil is very saturated, but at a good time to put down pre-emergent. Should I wait for it to dry out or put it down? When you say saturated, what do you mean? Do you mean like it's wet, or is it like, do you have like puddles all in the lawn? I mean, if your soil is wet, I would still apply the pre-emergent, because like, I can't stress enough, like too early with pre-emergent is not a bad thing. Too late is you're not getting, the benefit from it. Because remember that the whole word, it's in the word pre-emergent, like, but prior to the weeds emerging is when you want to put this down. So, if you can wait for it to dry out a little bit, sure, go for it. But I would get it down, man. I would get that down on your lawn or Colson. It's absolutely, it's important to do that if you want to have less weed pressure. Because here's the thing, pre-emergent, like for example, a small thing of Prodiamine, like this, the Sunnyland Prodiamine, like this one here, it's 5-ounce container. If I can get to focus, nope, my eyes are in the way. This treats up to 5 ounces. Or sorry, it's 5 ounces. Treats up to a I think 6,000 square foot warm season grass lawn. So if you've got a Bermuda grass lawn, this guy will do 6,000 square feet if memory serves me correctly. And this is like $20, $21, $22, all right? Like once you start getting into the post-emergent herbicides outside of Roundup, which you shouldn't spraying on your lawn, like the dollar signs go up. Like as soon as you have grass actively growing and you want to kill weeds in your lawn and not kill the grass at the same time, it gets expensive. So like I would definitely get your pre-emergent down now. Prodiamine is a great option. If you got a smaller lawn, you can get the Prodiamine in the 5-ounce container. I've got it here on the website, and also in the larger container, the 80-ounce. But I would do that. I would absolutely do that sooner than later if you don't want to have to deal with weeds. And Alan, I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for coming and taking some time out to chime in the live stream. Like hearing that from you definitely means a lot, because you are the godfather of YouTube lawn care. So getting having you take time out to come in is much appreciated. Let's see what other questions we have here. We're running down, guys. So Tim has a question about calcium. He says, hey Ron, per my soil test, my calcium is very high. Should I be worried at all? Bermuda lawn here in South Texas. Not really. Tim, when you say very high, would you mind sending me the soil test so I can actually look at it? Send it here, if you don't mind emailing it to me, ron@golfcourselawn.com. Just, yeah, send me your soil test results. I mean, that it will fall down or taper down, over time. But when you say very high, I'd like to see what you're talking about. So if you don't mind, shoot me an email, and I'll look at it and we can come up with a plan of action, if there even needs to be a plan of action to solve the problem together. Let's see. Yeah, and Tim is saying the same thing. Yeah, I am correct about the Fiskars. You're correct. It does not cut well at that height. So yeah, so even though you may see some real mowers, even the manual ones say, oh yeah, they go up to 4 inches. Real mowers are a short grass thing. Like when I say short grass, like really, 1.5 inches and lower. 2 inches maybe on a good day, but really 1.5 inches and lower is where real mowers really shine and do well. 4 inches is, even if they go up that high, I wouldn't think that you would get a good result with it. So I'm not surprised, Todd, that you're saying that that you agree that you didn't get a good cut. Let's see. Okay, so Wind Chariot says, Ron, did you feed with the Brand Supreme Green? Yes, I did. I'm asking my hands on some. What rate did you use? So here's what you want to do. If you are starting out now, okay, well, let's qualify this. Depending on how often you're planning to get out there. So if you're going to do it every 2 weeks, the first application of the season, I would put it down at the higher rate, which is 6 ounces per thousand. So put it down 6 ounces per thousand to start. And then if you're going to be doing it every 2 weeks, go at 3, take that 6 ounces, which is like the monthly rate, and divide that up. So every 2 weeks, you can do 2 to 3 ounces per thousand. I try to get around 4 ounces once I started spoon feeding, because I didn't want to hit the lawn too hard, because the Brand Supreme Green, if memory serves, is like straight urea. There's not any other, there's like literally like no low release in it at all. So I went a little bit lower when I was doing the 2 week follow-ups. So you can start with 6 ounces per thousand to start, and then you can do 2 to 3 ounces every couple of weeks if that's what you're planning to do. So that was the plan that I did with it, and you guys saw how my lawn looked last year, and I know it will work well. But now here's the thing: if you're going to do that, you're going to have to do a little bit of math, Wind Chariot, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to go out and apply like a pound of nitrogen from your granular and then still be applying Brand Supreme Green on top of that. Like if you're going to be spoon feeding, you need to back the rate down on your granular a little bit, so you're kind of like running at a deficit from a nitrogen standpoint. From like if you just only at your granular, and then use the liquid to make that up. So just and again, just let me know what you're planning to do. Let me know what fertilizer you're planning to use. Like shoot me an email here, ron@golfcourselawn.com, and I'll help you figure it out. So I want you to make sure you get a good result and that you don't like go too heavy and create problems. But great question. Great question. And I think we're running out of questions here, guys. I think we are winding down. JG says, thank you for the crew neck short options. We'll be awarding mine soon. You're very, very welcome, JG. I still got to get those on the YouTube store. But yeah, I'm glad that I was able to get one put together that you like. So, and as always, I appreciate the support. Timothy, thanks for coming to hang out, man. I appreciate it. Have a good weekend. And Timothy, well, you probably already left, but if you're still here, make sure you do something in the lawn this weekend if you can. If you are living somewhere where the soil temps are good, or your grass is green, and you're starting to come up, get out the lawn and work on it. It's always a good thing. I can't wait to be out there every weekend. Like Sunday, at a minimum, I'm definitely mowing. I might not be scalping, I may or may not be scalping, but I'm definitely mowing on Sunday. 77 degrees in Georgia in like early March, actually late February, early March. Definitely going to be out there. All right. What other questions we got here? Yeah, Helmet saying, Lawn Care Net put down the stress blend today. Good vibes. Yep, the new line of fertilizers looks pretty promising. Very, very, very cool. Let's see here. A brother's world says, hey Ron, on Northeast here, I'll be spreading lime pellets. How long should we wait before doing a spring fertilizer? And you are in the Northeast. I would wait until, obviously until wait a little bit longer, man, because if you're in the Northeast, you guys probably still have snow on the ground, I would imagine, right? Or the ground's frozen. Like you want to wait until you're close, you're within a few weeks of the lawn beginning to come out of dormancy, till you're to the point where you need to start doing stuff in the lawn. So for Georgia is now about the time to start doing your fertilizer if you want to do something for the spring. I can't imagine the Northeast that it'd be time just yet. I would give it a little bit more time if it were me. All right. What other questions here? Brian James says, do you have any plans on putting a small area in your back line into a true putting green? Probably not. Probably not, because I have to be out there. Two reasons. One, I have to be out there mowing every single day. And I know myself, right? I know myself. Like I am like, I'm like a completionist kind of person, and if I cut one part, if I turn one part of the lawn into a putting green, it looks amazing, and I really, really like it, I'm gonna end up making the whole back lawn like a green, and I don't want. I know I'm trying to save myself from myself, so I'm not doing that. I'm not even entertaining the idea of putting a putting green in the back lawn. Let's see here, Lawn Wish, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming to hang out, man. I saw I'm following you on Instagram. I saw your daughter helping you out with the sweeping of the garage. She got good form, man. She does a really good job. So thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. I really appreciate it. Let's see. That's a good question. I'm probably going to say no to this one. Card Player 85 says, have you checked your water pH for irrigation in spring? I'm using citric acid added to my liquid apps. I have alkaline water, and I'm considering dosatron to adjust my irrigation as soil pH is 8.2. I've not actually tested that. And you're not the first person to say that. I think LG asked me this question, Card Player 85, as far as like adding citric acid, like whatever you're doing, like a backpack spray, adding a little bit of citric acid to change the pH. I've not tested the pH of the tap water or the drinking water here in Georgia. I mean, I've not had any problems with it, but it's a good point. It's something I should probably, I can do. You know, it'd be interesting to experiment. At a minimum, I can call the water treatment facility and ask them. They can probably tell me, or I can test it myself, just to know. But I've not had a problem where I need to do anything like that. Like what you're describing, but thanks for sharing. That's a good tip. You're not the only person to have said that to me before. Let's see here. What other questions do we have? Alan and Justin cutting up. Let's see. What other questions here? Mr. Green Thumb says, "Hey Ron, what happens if your lawn receives too much nitrogen?" Speaking of someone who doesn't know the square feet of their lawn and just throw her down. A couple of things. It depends. A couple problems can come from it. So it depends on the kinds of nitrogen and depends on how much. So if you use like a liquid nitrogen, like a straight urea, like a liquid for it, if you go super heavy with that, and you have a very good chance of burning the lawn. So if you put like straight urea down and you don't water it in like right away, there's a good chance you're going to burn the lawn. If you get away with not burning it, you're going to cause a big growth surge. Which is not good. I mean, you're forcing the grass, you're forcing a ton of top growth unnecessarily, that you're gonna have to deal with. And even in a case where you go mildly high, so let's say Bermuda, the general knowledge is that Bermuda needs 1 pound to 1.5 pounds, somewhere around there. So there are some cultivars that need less than that, but let's say we're going for the 1 pound, right? Even if you are like pushing it, say 2 pounds per month, which is still quite a bit, or like 1.75. Just you're going over that. Not enough to really cause a huge growth surge. What you're going to happen is you're also going to increase like thatch buildup in the lawn. So it's just nothing really good comes from putting down too much nitrogen. I mean, it is the nutrient that Bermuda needs more than any other. But you don't want to go super heavy with it. Like all things in moderation, right? Like like nitrogen is important, but you need the right amount of nitrogen. And the way to know that is, again, y'all are gonna think I'm, you sound like I'm being a dead horse, but get a soil test done at least once per year, so you know what you're dealing with, so you can intelligently put the right types of products on your lawn. As far as knowing what kind of square footage of your lawn you have, there's a tool that's free online at called Map Developer. I think it's mapdevelopers.com. And there's a tool on there. It's the URL is like areafinder.php or whatever, but it's their area finder tool. And all you do is you put your address in, and it allows you to draw waypoints around your lawn, and it will give you it'll tell you how big your square footage is. But once you know that, then when you go to like a site, like you go to Yardmaster, you go to my site, and you get like a fertilizer, like in there is going to tell you like how much fertilizer to put down per 1,000 square feet, and how much weight, how many pounds of fertilizer per 1,000 square feet. And if you know that your lawn is like say 15,000 square feet, right, and you're going to be putting down 3 pounds per, then you know how much fertilizer to measure out. Put that in your broadcast spreader, and you can kind of gauge it as you're walking. You're saying, okay, am I walking at a good pace? Are my spreader settings correct? That I'm putting out the product at the correct rate. So it's really not that hard, Mr. Green Thumb. There are free tools to figure out how big your lawn is, and I would incorporate soil testing. At least, if you're going to do it, do it at least once a year, just to know what the deficiencies are, so that when you buy a fertilizer, you're buying the right thing. But we kind of got off on a tangent there, but yeah, as far as too much nitrogen, don't do it. Like don't put too much down. You're creating a bunch of headache for yourself, unfortunately. If you do that in a bunch of surge growth, potential burning of the lawn. In less extreme cases, you're creating like thatch buildup, and it's just not. And then depending on the fertilizers you're using, some fertilizers have a lot of salts in them. So if you're pushing a lot of nitrogen unnecessarily, like you're putting more nutrients in the soil than you really need, you could also be raising the sodium levels in the lawn unnecessarily. So there's no reason to do it. There's really no benefit to adding unnecessary amounts of nitrogen to your lawn, in addition to wasting money, right? So Hopefully that helps. But if you need help figuring it out, so if my explanation wasn't clear, you need like a little bit more help, again, drop me an email here, ron@golfcourselawn.com, or just ping me in one of my comments of the YouTube videos, and I'll do my best to help you out as far as getting your square footage worked out and figuring out like, how much nitrogen you need to be applying, spreader settings, all that jazz. Just let me know. I am here to serve because I want you guys to get amazing lawns because it's fun. Cool, like nice lawns are awesome. Let's see what other questions we have here. Todd is asking about folic soil temps and humic and folic. I don't know there really is one. I apply products that have humic in them like year round. So as long as the ground is not frozen, I always got to qualify that because I always answer my questions as if everybody lives in Georgia and everyone doesn't. So assuming your soil is not frozen, have to say that. And you're using like a granular product that has like humics in it, I apply that stuff like all the time. I don't notice that necessarily there's a soil temperature restriction around those types of things. Now, if you're dealing with a granular product that has like a microbial package in it, like those like microbes need like soil temps to be 50, 55 degrees to really begin doing their things. That they like warmer soil temperatures. They're more active. So, you might want, that might be a consideration, but there's not really, at least to my knowledge anyway, there's not really a restriction on temperatures when it comes to applying humic acid and those kinds of things to your soil. The products that I use have that in it, and I've been applying it monthly. Let's see what other questions we have here. I think we are winding down, guys. I think I've about talked you guys out. I think this is the longest live stream we've had yet at this point, but I wanted to get to all your questions. You guys take time out of your day out of your Friday where you could be doing something else to come hang out in the live stream. So I want to, answer your questions if at all possible. And I think we are about out. Let's see. Oh, good question here on PGR. So Gabriel Henry says, I want to try plant growth regulator this year. When should I start applying it? Once the lawn gets to my desired height, or should I cut lower and then let the product regulate? Awesome question. PGR is one of the things I love most about lawn care. Makes your lawn look awesome and saves you time. Okay, so PGR. In my case, I typically start applying PGR in April. Mid to late April is when I tend to do my first PGR app. And then I just keep applying it all the way into the fall monthly. So there's a couple of different ways of going about this. You have some people that will say there are there's the school of thought behind using like the growing degree days. Like there's apps like a Greenkeeper app that you can use that will approximate or tell you when your lawn is approximately going to come out of regulation. Here's the thing, like T-Nex growth regulator, which the active ingredient that is pronounced is trinexapac ethyl, if I can remember correctly. That has a regulation period of like 3 to 4 weeks when you're applying it at the correct rate. So I just keep things simple. Like I'll apply it like say late April, early May, like the first week of May, or the start of May or the late tail end of April, and I just do it at the beginning of every month until I'm into the fall. That's the easiest way to go about it. That's what I've done. I've gotten good results from it. There probably are ways to optimize your applications a little bit more, but that's what I do. As far as cutting, no, there's not really any height of cut or anything that you have to go down to before you start applying PGR. Here's the one thing I will tell you though: when you apply trinexapac ethyl or T-Nex the first time, you do tend to get a bit of yellowing, a little bit of bronzing or hazing to the grass the first time you do it. That's going to go away after the first time you mow it. So if you apply the product and you see like a little bit of yellowing of your grass, don't think, oh my God, I killed my grass. It's completely normal. That's just par for the course. As a way to get around that, if you can apply a little bit of a liquid fertilizer, so like something like this, like a Turfplex or Brand Supreme, any kind of little bit of liquid nitrogen, just at a low rate. You don't need a lot of it. You put some of that in along with your T-Nex application. That's gonna reduce that yellowing. But what I tend to find is it's the first one of the season is when the yellowing seems to be worse, and then after that, I don't really get it anymore. So like for example, if I apply in late April, early May, that first time I apply it, I might get a little bit of hazing. But then after that, subsequent applications, it's fine. I don't get anything else after that. So just that's one thing to keep in mind if you apply PGR, you didn't do anything wrong. And I've got a couple of different videos. Actually, I've got a video on how to apply T-Nex. So if you need to do that, to know how to do it, there will be one there. And I'll probably do another one this year just because, right? Because I'm doing YouTube content and I can make a better video this year than I can last year. So why not do a better version of it? So there'll be a video on that this year whenever I do start applying PGR. But if you have any questions, reach out to me at ron@golfcourselawn.com. smokescreen.com. Let's see what other questions. Oh, there we go. So SMK, then the scientist chimes in. He says, water pH is from the mains is fixed by law, so needs to measure pH. Alkaline water comes from bore irrigation, so sometimes pH needs to be adjusted. Thank you so much, SMK. For those of you guys that don't know, SMK is like a, from what I understand, I don't know exactly what his job title is, but he's a person that researches like the effects of herbicides on the environment or something along those lines. Because he's actually the first guest I ever had on the live stream. So he's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to these types of things. So there you go. If you're dealing with like mains water, you don't need to worry about it, which is probably why I've not had a problem. But thank you for chiming in, SMK. I appreciate it. And I think we're down to our last question. Let's see here. So it's 007. I think it's our last question of the night. He says, hey, Ron, I recently purchased my first home here in Southwest Florida, and I plan on doing a complete yard renovation from bare ground. Awesome. More power to you, sir. That's an awesome, ambitious goal to take on. He says, to level out the bumpy areas, would you recommend of sand or soil? So I would mix, there's two ways to go about it. I would do a 70-30 mix. Like that is like the minimum, like, and probably the most economical way to go about like leveling your lawn, where you're also introducing some organic material. So 70-30 mix, that's one way to go about it. If you feel like a baller and you want to go hardcore, what I would do is after aerating your lawn, I would get some kind of very clean organic product that contains like some biochar, some compost, like a really quality product, like the products that Miramichi Green puts out, like the Carbon Pro G, or the, if you've got a top dressing machine to be able to spread it, the Carbonized PN is also a good option. And I think there's another product they make, Essential G, that's also a good option you can also use. But one of those, so I would aerate the lawn, I would put down like, Carbon Pro G or Carbonized PN or something along those lines. And then I would top dress with sand. I would just use only sand. And that is like a great option for introducing organic material. You're introducing some carbon, and it's going to reduce the amount of weeds that you have in your lawn after top dressing it. Because the one negative to using topsoil is that you are going to have some weeds in your lawn. You're going to bring some nastiness into your lawn when you top dress with topsoil. But I mean, it's not that big a deal. But if you're a person that's trying to not have to deal with that, you can go with like one of the carbon products that are like part carbon, part compost to get around that. So great. And then the very last question of the night it says, hey Ron, on one of your videos you mentioned that a fence is going up in your yard. Your reel mower is not going to get it. You may have to use a manual reel mower back there. Yeah, it's funny. I asked you guys like what I should do about that area of the back lawn, and like all you guys are like, you know what, Ron must suffer. He must feel pain. The manual reel mower must come back. I got like an overwhelming amount of like suggestions of manual reel mower. And it might come to that. It very might come to that. I mean, Alan made a suggestion of one of those like hovering mowers. That might be a thing, but we'll see. I'll have to see where the fence ends up being before knowing for sure what I'm going to end up doing. But you guys all gave me some really good suggestions, and I really appreciate it. All right. And then Tish Dada, this is good. This will be the last question of the night. He says, once you do that top dress process, can you only do sand going forward? So here's the thing, Chris. I've done both. The first time my lawn was top dressed, it was top dressed with river sand. Like that's all it had on it. And then I did a mixture. I've done different combinations, and I've still gotten a good result. So I can only talk from my experience. I've not had a negative of using sometimes an experience where I did like 70-30, and then also using sand. Actually, last year I did both. Last year I did a 70-30 blend on the lawn, and then when we did Alex's lawn, it was 100% river sand. And you saw how my lawn turned out. So I think, at least in my case, doesn't really matter. Doesn't really make that much of a difference. Well, awesome, guys. And then Angie, the last comment, she says, "Hi, Ron, I see my husband loves your videos. He's been working on our lawn a while, but then he slacks off." Well, that's all part of it. At least he's working on it. He's trying. So that's awesome. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for taking, the better part of almost 3 hours out of your Friday to hang out on the Lawn Care live stream. I really appreciate all the support and all the love, and I will continue doing these as long as you guys want to keep watching and are getting value out of it. So as far as plans for the weekends, you guys already know I'm going to be mowing, maybe scalping. If you guys are in Georgia, it's time to also get out there. If you've not gotten a soil test done, do that. Now's the time to do it. And as far as a Mirimichi Green giveaway, we'll see. At some point, I will see if I can pull that off. I am not quite there yet where I can afford to give away a product or a bottle of any Mirimichi Greens products just yet. But when the channel gets big enough, as it continues to grow, that will become a thing. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Please like, share, comment. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. I will see you guys next time. Have an amazing, amazing weekend. I will see you guys next week. Take care.